next level, leagues above the devil. Flying higher than they said I would, they label me a rebel. Bogota barely as dope as me. Success the only thing that give me dopamine. A legend, the only thing that I'm supposed to be. Everything's the only thing that's owed to me. Yeah, I want it all, my baby. I didn't come to watch, I came to ball, my baby.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Drift Masters Championship 2025 season. My name is Becky Evans, and you join me here live exclusively on Red Bull TV. I'm going to be bringing you all of the gossip, on track, off track, and everything in between for the rest of the season. I'm delighted to be back. We are here in a sunny Spain. We are in Madrid at the Circuit de Llama for round 2. Where it has been a hot and sticky start to the season. And boy, it is good. We had our qualifying session yesterday, and it was electric. We had our top 3 qualifiers, James Dean, Peter Vichek, and Tor Arne Kvia. But let's take a look at the drift calendar for this year. We had round 1 in Italy, unfortunately cancelled. We're here now in Spain for round 2. We go back to Mondello Park in Ireland, and then head to Riga, baby. Germany is back on the calendar for this year, and all roads lead to the Red Bull Drift Masters final at the PGE Narodowy. 50,000 people in a stadium for the final of what is the biggest drift championship in the world right now. So, obviously we saw Lauri Heinonen win the 2024 championship with a stunning display of skill. He was always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but that boy went out there and got his trophy and ended up on the top spot. So let's take a look. Over here, he had a successful day yesterday. Oh, greeting the fans. Lauri, good to see you again. Ready for the 2025 season, are we?
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you feel about winning the championship last year?
It's still hard to believe that it's true. Like, I'm still waking up at night and thinking, like, what? Yeah.
Now, you have a very, very big fan base that are so behind you. You bring so many Finnish fans to these events. What was it like for your fans when you won that championship?
I think it was at least as exciting for me, for them as for me. So, yeah, I think we are all enjoying it as much as we can.
So let's talk about qualifying yesterday. How was that for you? The car seemed to be performing beautifully. I mean, you can hear that thing sing all the way down the hill.
Yeah, the car is working good and seems to be quite quick, so it's a good position to move on to the battle.
So let's talk about season expectations. We've got a few tracks that you've already seen this year. Obviously, this is a new one. What is a track that you're looking forward to, and what are you feeling as to your predictions?
Yeah, it's always Riga for me. Because, yeah, you just want to be king of Riga. Like watching Jack take it last year, it was so nice. So I want to be the king of Riga this year, but we'll see.
Thank you so much, Lauri, and good luck in your top 32. He always wants, everybody wants to be the king of Riga. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's actually one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. It's so fast, it's so fun. But what I am really looking forward to is seeing what happens today in our top 32. Obviously, we had some practice sessions, and as I was walking around the paddock yesterday, you know what it's like? When it's a fast, grippy track, it's all happening. There's a few crashes, there's a few spills. Przygonski had a few issues there, one of our Red Bull drivers. But speaking of Red Bull drivers, I can see one in my sights right now. Connor Shanahan, our 2023 champion. Connor, how are we? Enjoying the sun?
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's warm actually today. It's quite hot. It's hard to keep the focus high when it's conditions like this, but relaxing a little bit, getting a bit of energy with a good cold Red Bull in. It's good, it's nice. It was a decent practice, not amazing, but I think it goes without saying right now there's no easy battle in Drift Masters.
Yeah, I think the competitors are getting better and better, but you know all about this because you've actually now been running a program across the pond in the States, over here in Europe, your brother's over there as well. Like, you've been very busy.
Yeah, for sure. One thing is driving the car, and between me and my brother running the program is a lot of work. There's a lot of work goes in behind the scenes from everybody, and if everyone's not giving it their 100%, it creates a lot of stressful weekend when you get to the track. But very grateful, always will be grateful for this team. It's very family ran, a lot of passion behind it, which is great, and it's good for me also as well. America's a little bit different, kind of, learning how to build a drift car, learning how to set it up, doing all the things on my own. But I've really enjoyed that experience also. But the focus goes back to try be as good as I can in the car, and I feel like the car is quite good. It comes down to me now.
Because obviously, how you doing with the jet lag? But
for sure, it's tiring. It is really tiring. It is. there's a lot of things also what people I think don't see behind the scenes of like when you're running your own race team, it's not as simple as just arriving here and driving the car. It's if your employees arrived in time, if they're paid on time, if all the bills are paid, you know, and all those things have to be, you know, yeah, for sure there's other people dealing with it, but at the end of the day when you're the one looking at the bank account, stressing is the budget in. So yeah, all that stuff gets tiring, and I feel like it can take your eye off the ball a little bit for sure. But at the same time, we just have to try focus when we sit in the car and worry about those things afterwards.
Quick predictions on today. How are you feeling about it?
Good, but as I said, there really is no easy battle right now in Drift Masters. I was just talking to my spotter, and you know, I got the whole way to the top of this level of a championship in 2023, which was a great year, but with so much work to do that, and of course a little bit of luck on my side too. But I feel like to really be at the top level of this championship, you literally have to be perfect. Like, there's no, oh, I might get through to 32 or I might get through to 16. You have to be inch perfect. So, as always, I'll give it 100%. I hope that it's good enough. If it's not, I'll go home back and go back to the drawing board and learn and come back harder again the next time.
I have ultimate faith in you, Connor. Good luck today. Thank you. All right, let's take a little walk up here because another development in the paddock is the fact that our commentator, Dave Egan, he is a good friend. But he's now decided that he is going to be the guy who is going to jump into the driving seat and give it a go himself. You know what? I always say you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to walk the walk, you've got to talk the talk. Dave is literally doing that. Ultimate respect. He had his qualifying session yesterday. He managed to qualify. So I'm very impressed. Let's see if we can catch up with him here now. Dave Egan, this is strange being on this side of it.
It is a lot more stressful on this side. And right now,
you know what? The head is off the engine. I heard something about a stone, a timing belt, knocking timing out, and we have an issue.
yeah, so yesterday I was super lucky to qualify. It was the best day ever. I honestly was emotional. It's just such a lifelong goal. And then this morning went to practice, everything was going great. And then a tiny pebble went into, I think it's here.
Oh yeah, the timing belt.
From a distance it went through there, which has never happened before. And a lot of the guys in the pits have never seen it happen before, but it slipped the timing, compression gone on the engine. Luckily, DBM, Clint van Oort's team, have a spare head. They built the car originally. So we have a head, but very little time. So I think we've got about 40 minutes until our battle, maybe half an hour. So I was ready to pack up, but this team were not. They were saying, no, we've had such a good weekend. We're going to go at it. And it is hot in here. It's stressful. But if we can get back out, we'll definitely put on a fight.
You've got to love it, though, how everyone just mucks in. Like, you've always been on the outside of it watching, and now it's literally you in the hot seat, and everyone's running around after you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned this weekend is that we watch it like you guys watch it at home. Race cars driving around, it's all high fives. Behind the scenes, it's like a swan on a lake. It's just everybody's smoothly drifting, and then all the legs are going underneath. So the amazing teams, and we're all part of one big family. Like, this is a circus that travels to 6 different countries, and everybody knows what it's like to get knocked out by a mechanical. So other teams are offering parts. It's such good camaraderie. So while everyone out there is trying to kill each other, in here they're having a lot of fun, and also a lot of friendships are being made, I guess.
Absolutely, Dave. And we have a brand new member of our commentary team. Jacob Gettins, not a stranger to me, but new to Drift Masters. Jacob, you've come all the way over from FD, from Canada. How are you feeling after your first qualifying session here at Drift Masters?
The nerves are off now. It was a lot coming into it, a lot to learn, dealing with the jet lag, all that fun stuff, but the nerves are gone. So now it's just get down to business, tell the stories, have a lot of fun, and working with yourself and Ian, absolute honor, and we've had a blast this weekend. So.
What are your predictions? I mean, now you're suddenly seeing the European, all of the global talent that we have here coming to Drift Masters. What, if you had to have a prediction, would you say?
I think it's just going to get faster. I'm not going to pick who's going to win, but we saw yesterday in qualifying, the runs just got faster and faster and faster. So I think by the end, we're going to hit track speeds of 160 kph or higher. That's what I think it's going to be. In the tandem's just going to get closer. And I mean, if yesterday was any indication, we're in for a crazy, crazy treat.
Well, I'm going to have to send you up to the commentary booth because you have a job to do right now. I am going to say goodbye to Dave. Good luck. I hope everything comes together. And you know what I'm going to do, just for old time's sake? Can you just close up the opener for me and hand up to Ian? Take the mic.
From Becky and I, can I hand it up to the one remaining king of the commentary box, Ian Waddington. Take it away, Ian.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 at Drift Masters here in the beautiful Spain. A massive thank you to Becky, Dave, and Jacob. And yes, let's get this thing on the road because we are ready to rock and roll. And as those guys said, we are in for a treat this weekend. Not only was yesterday electric, not only was yesterday hairs on arms standing up, but today is going to be even more crazy. We see some crazy stunts in the paddock as well from some of our Red Bull athletes down there, having some fun, putting some smiles on some faces. But the smiles on the faces are going to be from the guys right there on the grandstand, on the hills surrounding this crazy track with this crazy elevation and this insane speed initiation. Let's take a look at the schedule, though. We're going to kick off top 32 right here at 12:15, and then at 3:50 p.m. we're going to kick off the top 16. We're going to bring all the cars out on track in front of the grandstand. We're going to show them all off, and then those guys are going to go head-to-head all the way to the podium, where we will decide the round 2 winner, and the road to the championship begins. But I'm not a judge, you're not a judge, we need a judge. David Kalas, what's new, what's happening in 2025?
Yeah, here we are having really exciting news for the starting procedure. In the starting procedure, previously, if you're a higher qualifier, you needed to go to your lead position and lead first. From this year, we are giving the possibility to higher qualifier to actually choose if he would like to lead first or chase first. And that will happen when he will be going out of the warm-up box. So the other guy never knows what will be happening, and the only person who knows what will happen in the first run is the higher qualifier. So that puts more emphasis on the qualification, but now we are out of qualification, we are getting into the battles, and it is important to speak about what is important for the lead driver. Lead driver is doing the same thing what he was doing in qualification yesterday, so he needs to hit all the clipping zones, maintaining the consistent angle, and drive that it is chaseable, that it is nice to chase from the chaser. That takes us to the chaser, and chaser is having the only clipping point on the track, and that's the leader. He needs to be close, he needs to be on the same angle, same line, trying to mimic what is happening in front of him, and also synchronize the transitions and getting safely to the finish line.
Well, thank you very much, David. Yes, and some changes to 2025, and this start line higher qualifier choice is new for us, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. There could be some games. But look, we need to look at the track. Let's have a look at the track that these guys are going to be tackling this weekend. It's fast. It's super fast. It's third, fourth gear, straight down off that new start line. And then it's a clutch kick into this first outside zone. Drop the car down ever so slightly, pick up that inside zone, then wash the car right to the edge of the circuit to the second outside zone. Then it's a long flowing transition where you're going to see a guys lot slow very dramatically into this absolutely incredibly long outside zone 4. Then it's a shoot down on the inside once again and pick up that inner zone, then wash the car over that camber to the outside zone, down the hill again into this outside zone before picking up another inside zone almost on the middle of the track before going right to the outside edge of the circuit and across the line. That is the track. It seems super easy, but it isn't. We see yesterday in qualifying a lot of these guys struggling to get the job done, but today those guys that got the job done yesterday are going to put it all up. There was some problems yesterday, though, because we see a massive accident in our qualifying showdown, and this was what ended our qualifying showdown abruptly. A huge problem between James Dean and Peter Vichek, our first and second place qualifiers, who went head-to-head in the qualifying showdown. James Dean unable to slow that car down. Peter Vichek saying he just got out of formation a little bit, carrying a lot of speed. He wanted to give it 120%. He wanted to push hard for James Dean to give him a chase, to give us the best show he could. And unfortunately, ended in a huge crash. Now, unfortunately, that meant that Piotr Vichek would not be able to compete today in the top 32 due to that car taking on so much damage and being unrepairable and deemed unsafe by our safety marshal here. Drift Masters internal crew deciding that no, it can't be used, and Peter Vichek saying, look, I'm going to retire the car. And you can see there the extent of the damage that was done to that car when we recovered it from the circuit. Not the way that we like to see things go out. We would like to see these guys battle it hard on track, and I spoke to Pontus Hartman earlier, who will now get a buy run into the top 16. He said, look, if I was going to do it, I'd want to do it head-to-head. I'd want to do it on the tarmac. I'd want to do it with wheels on the ground. Unfortunately, he's not going to get that opportunity this weekend. But this is the grid, and as Connor Shanahan alluded to earlier on, this is not going to be easy. If you put this lineup in front of anybody else around the world, they would say that these battles are finals. For me, a huge standout. I've only been allowed to pick one because they said you can't pick the whole grid. But for me, a standout, Lauri Heinonen, Benedictus Cirba. Now, why is that standout? Because Heinonen has a target on his back. He comes into this as the reigning and defending 24 champion. He wants to carry that form on. He hasn't touched the car. But Cirba, he has been looking on form. Jacob, I know you've got your pick. What are you going for?
Yeah, I have to go with Nakamura and David Sposob battle. I mean, that is going to be nuts. Nakamura's ability to change over this offseason was crazy. His chases that I saw in practice earlier today, incredible. He was absolutely on the door of everyone, super, super fast when we were looking through the analytics. He's got the entire package put together, but David is not anybody to mess with. If there's anybody who's going to take him down, that's going to be it. So, as you said, all of these battles in top 32, these could be finals anywhere else.
I certainly could, yeah. David Sposob, look, on any day he could take out anybody. This young Polish rookie is coming through the ranks now, and he's starting to earn himself a name in Drift Masters. Look, the time for talking is almost over. The grandstand's ready, I'm ready, the judges are ready, and I hope you guys at home are ready, because here we go. It is time to kick off our top 32. Well, here we go. Cars warming on the line, but only one of them. And that is because, unfortunately, we're already getting a buy run. News from the paddock just moments ago that Adam Zalewski, unfortunately, is retired from competition due to some engine issues. And yesterday, we spoke about it in qualifying. It didn't seem like that car had the power to get out of some of those tight zones, those uphill sections, that cambered part of the circuit. And I went and spoke to him earlier on, and he was rushing around with his team, trying to get it fixed. And unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done in time. So we do lose Adam Zalewski out, but we do have James Dean coming off the line.
And I mean, really, for James Dean, this is a shakedown run. This is to make sure that after that incident yesterday, the car is at form. He didn't actually take a ton of damage, but the back end of that car did take something. So you can go and realign everything, but it can shake bolts loose, it can turn the wheels in improper directions, it can bend brake lines. So for him, nobody wants to win a battle this way, but to take a little bit of pressure off the team, now they can make sure everything is running, check it all again, and be ready for the next battle.
Yeah, they certainly can. And James Dean was sitting with 11 points coming into this, and now starting to claw some more forward in a real championship hunt in this brand new Ford Mustang RTR for 2025. And look, what a way to kick off the season. You know, qualifying high, getting 11 points, tying Peter Vichek in that first place almost with 11 points. Now steps into top 16, grabs a whole bag load more. Look, if Lady Luck, if the Irish luck is on his side this weekend, he could be leading this championship as we walk away from Spain. But hey, this is early doors yet. This is Drift Masters, so anything can happen. There we go. We make it official as we slide it across, and James Dean advances through to our top 16. And we start to get through the action now as we get more cars warmed up down the back of the grid, ready to rock and roll. And a man that I put money on yesterday and said he was looking like a superstar. This young Frenchman showed his hand before at Drift Masters, but now this weekend he's come for business. A full driver for 2025, Jason Banet, sits in the lead position as the higher qualifier against Diogo Correia. Sorry, no, Diogo Correia was the higher qualifier in 16th position, but he's opted to go. This is going to catch me out, Jacob.
Yeah, it's all
weekend.
good. We got to get used to this.
Yeah, so Diogo Correia has opted now to go in the chase position as the higher qualifier. So I apologise now for making mistakes because this is going to get a little confusing for everybody. Right, Jason Banet, the lower qualifier, has been handed the torch by Diogo Correia and said, hey, why don't you lead first?
Yeah, and we can speculate a little bit as we go as to why certain drivers are making certain moves. In this case, I don't have a lot of idea why. It might just be, let's just see what happens.
Exactly that. We get the green light ready to rock and roll as we've moved that start line right back where it needs to be. Through the gears they come as Jason Banet flicks that Subaru BRZ 2JZ powered across the circuit. That Mercedes-Benz powered BMW E92 of Diogo Correia stalls up, checks up on that outside zone. Now starts to get himself back to the fight as Banet puts that car right to the edge of circuit. Some lost ground from Diogo Correia, and he's trying to make it up. He's on a cleaner lead line as he comes around that last outside zone.
Yeah, we get our first taste of head-to-head action here today. Great battle to kick things off. A lot of notes that we can start taking as we get this drone view coming in. Jason Banet out front, really getting on the throttle. Maybe just a touch late, causing Diego to kind of fall back into that. So we want the drivers to be fast through the run, but we don't want them to try and run away from them. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on here, but keep that in mind. If you see a driver getting into these zones without a ton of angle or missing zones, it's a good indication that they're trying to get away from the chase driver. That being said, the chase driver still does need to keep up. You do have to match the line of the car ahead of you. And something interesting with this camera view that you can see, look at all the heat coming off this track today.
Yep.
It is very warm. This is the hottest they've seen this track temp. So you're going to have to change some things in the car because the tires start to act very differently when it gets to this temperature.
Yeah, it's the hottest day of the weekend so far for us, or since we've been here on Thursday. 27 degrees out there at the moment. So that's Dave Egan saying yesterday, which was a cooler day, was 46 degrees inside the car.
Wow.
I mean, it's like stepping into an oven.
It's like living in Florida, sir. But no, it was a really good battle. Looking at, potentially why one driver, as we see Diego, is he just checking up there for a second, maybe trying to cool himself off? It is pretty warm. I mean, it's tough to say. This is where a lot of the speculation is going to come in for us, because we don't know. We're seeing what you're seeing. I think spraying off.
Yeah, I think they're just cooling down the car. A lot of issues with Correia's car throughout the weekend. Power steering problems, he had battery problems, they had engine bearing problems, and they changed the engine bearings and said, well, we think it's going to work, and it's held together so far.
Well, when you've got an engine like the Mercedes M104, it's different. You don't have as many notes. It's not like a 2J where you can say, okay, this is how much horsepower you're running. This is the exact cooling parts that you need for it. When you have this, you're figuring this out as you go. If you go too big, you're adding unnecessary weight. Too small, start dealing with bearing issues. Exactly that.
So there we go. Correia pulls up to the line now to lead out Jason Banet. And this is going to be so interesting as we travel through 2025 with this start line procedure now, as we've mixed it up. And you can see how we've now removed the chicane. 8 metres back sits Jason Banet, and Correia given 1 second to cross that line before breaking the beam. And now Banet jumps onto the back bumper of that BMW. Correia absolutely up and gone as he puts foot to floor, fires through the outside zone. Down he comes, but Banet not letting him get too far away. He would have known by the spots he needs to stay on the back wheel. And now Banet starts to rein him in. The Portuguese driver under some pressure here from the Frenchman as he sticks it to the rear wheel. And now Banet really going for the dive as he gets it to the door across the line.
Yeah, great battle there. What I really like to see is Jason Banet clearly has a faster car going into this, but Diego Correia does a good job of getting into all the zones. So even though he doesn't have a faster car, technically through this run, he's hitting zones potentially better than Jason Banet was. So it's going to come down to the judges and how they weigh all these different things. Could have been a little bit deeper from Diego out front there, but doesn't look that bad. Look at it, midline, just exit just a touch early when we get that shot. And you can start to see just how dynamic this track is as they come in and out of camber. But a great chase there from Jason. I mean, very aggressive, times everything well, holds into the pocket a little bit longer. That delay in the chase allows you to transition and fire back in. So it's a big patience thing to pull off a move like that. But I don't know, that lead run from Correia was pretty solid and checked a lot of boxes for me.
Certainly did, yeah. It was a very nice lead run there from Diego Correia. And look, these guys qualified 16th and 17th, so both, there or thereabouts in the ballpark, both out of the car happy, and the crowd enjoying the views, sights and sounds of Drift Masters 2025. Slide them left for Jason Banet and right for Diego Correia, who's going to take it through, and it looks like it will be the Frenchman of Jason Banet, gets the win, advances through to the top 16, unanimous by our judges. And yeah, to be honest, I think it came down to the chase more than anything, to be honest with you. I think it was all on the chase for those guys. And yeah, David Kalas looks at me and actually gives me a nod like, you're right for once.
Yeah, I think we're on it, man. We're starting the season off well. The judges are agreeing with us. We're in a good mood here, Ian. It's a great day out here in Spain. The weather is incredible. The people are
How have
amazing.
you been enjoying Europe so far? I mean, it's your first time in Spain.
I mean, listen, I'm going to start applying for some passports and things. It's pretty great. And Lauri Heinonen taking that lead spot. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the battle I called out. And I wondered if a lot of the older drivers would stay with what they know.
I think so.
The original format. Will they stick to what they know? Lead first, chase second.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see that from a lot of these guys. We sit on the line ready to go. And look at this Cirba, cool, calm and collected, relaxed inside the car. The Lithuanian driver absolutely focused on what the job is in at hand, as he needs to chase down the 2024 current reigning and defending champion of Lauri Heinonen from Finland. Through the start line they go, no chicane anymore, through the gears down as Lauri Heinonen, big clutch kick, flicks that 180SX to angle. But there's no chance that Cirba's going to let him get away, and almost takes a back bumper off the back end of that S13 as he now makes another dive. And Cirba knows he can rely on the Finnish driver to push it to the limit. And look at the angle from Lauri Heinonen as he absolutely throws caution to the wind and puts the car right where it needs to be and across the line. Cirba was caught up there on that massive angle on the outside zone.
You absolutely nailed it, though, that when you have a driver like Lauri Heinonen in front of you, you can be so much more aggressive on the chase. You know he's going to be fast, and his car is going to be potentially faster than yours, so you don't have to lift as we get this amazing in-car view. Lauri Heinonen, a monster behind the wheel. Benedictus Cirba looking very calm, cool, collected as he gets into the chase there. It's it's got to be kind of relaxing knowing the lead driver that you've got in front of you, because you can do this, you can do stuff like this. But Lauri adding that little bit of extra angle, getting him back online, and Cirba didn't really get a chance to answer. So when you're that close, it's great. The proximity is amazing, but it also means you have less time to react to what's going on. You can see Cirba almost looking like he was preparing for impact there.
Yeah.
As he leans away. It's a good indication that he's a little spooked as to what was going on, but great run from both of these drivers. I do agree. I think Lauri picked lead first because that is what he's used to.
Yeah.
He is someone who normally qualifies quite high, so for him it's just a bit of old hat to jump into that spot.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that pattern. I think some guys won't want to change the format, but given the opportunity to some of the other guys who are newer to the sport, they might say, "Hey, I'd like to chase first, so I'm going to chase first." That's my bag, especially if you're not the greatest qualifying line driver. A lot of these guys prefer to chase. Here we go, Heinonen sitting 8 meters away from the back end, or the beginning, the start of that BMW E92 as Cirba now put into that lead position. We expect Lauri Heinonen to give him a good chase as he starts to creep already. They get the green light, Cirba breaks that beam, and we get all clear, ready to send. Through the gears goes Benedictus Cirba as he flicks that E92 across the circuit. Heinonen with a big clutch kick. Oh, and a shallow wobble there from both guys, and almost impact as Lauri Heinonen absolutely backs that car in, rear wheel to rear wheel. They both flick on angle. It's scrappy from both at the moment. Oh, and then come down, contact.
So, okay, very interesting. There is a huge benefit to leading first and a huge benefit to chasing first. I think some tire wear is coming into this. I think in order to keep up with a Lauri Heinonen, you have to get that car crazy. I mean, it doesn't look that bad though. I was concerned that Cirba might have actually just been completely out of tread by the time that run came in.
Yeah,
because it looked weird.
Look, there was a lot of wavering and wobbling. Look at this, a dive from Lauri Heinonen there. Just backed that car in. He was sure he was going to make contact.
Oh, yeah,
wow,
you
that
can
was
see
super close.
Steers out of it. But even on the launch, Cirba was pretty, didn't have a ton of angle.
No.
Pretty straight line through that. I don't know if he was trying to run away or there was something else going on with the car, but it did not look like a Cirba run. Added the extra angle.
Oh yeah, rear wheel to rear wheel.
Yeah, so there might be a bit of damage on Cirba. Either way, it's our second run. You can see Lauri looking at it, waiting. Knew it. Oh, doesn't break focus. It doesn't even blink on contact. What a madman. But just a little body check there as our two drivers slide out of frame.
The body language between these two guys.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Hilarious,
Yeah.
because they are very cold, very focused. A big following here from Lithuania as well. Now, this is going to be interesting to see how the judges go with this one, because, to be honest, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And we are demoing out a couple of new pieces of technology this weekend. One of it is the Wally system from Race Data Labs. So they're able to kind of look at this run in a bit different of a way.
Yeah.
Able to use things like actual proximity between the two sensors. They're able to use speed and decel to understand a little bit better what's going on. They're still going through making judgments based on the analog tools they're used to, but why not use a new tool?
Look, at the end of the day, at Drift Masters, we love to introduce new things, hence the start line, hence the choosing whether you can lead or chase for the higher qualifier. We also like to implement new equipment where we can, because the sport's developing, the drivers are developing, and if we can use the equipment, then we will. And you see those two sensors on the roof of the car. Now, that was developed by Race Data Labs, and the company are with us this weekend and have been for all of last season, trying this product out and showing us the real-time data. And we've got it. You've got it in front of you. You're a big numbers guy, Jacob. Big numbers guy. Not me. I can do 1 to 5, and then I can't kind of run out of where I need to be. But this system will be able to give the judges another indicator of, was Cirba slowing? Was he on throttle?
Yeah.
Was Lauri Heinonen coming in way too hot? Because that live GPS data that will be transferred back to the equipment we've got here in the commentary booth, and you can see David Kalash talking about it, talking to the other judges. They're going to still use the traditional system of eyes on, what do they feel as a judge? But if they can, have another little third eye, fourth eye down on the track or on top of the cars to tell us, they're going to try and use that to help guide a decision. Because, look, we don't like putting any of these guys out of competition.
No.
This judging decision is very difficult sometimes for these guys, but again, another tool that we can use, another piece of equipment, is beneficial to the sport?
I would be looking at decel and where the decel zone was and what happened there, as we see our judges still having deep discussions about this, because there's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
What both cars were doing, where they were on track, how fast they were going, what angle they were at, closing speeds, things like that. I mean, I think one day we'll have some sort of AI projection that tells you where he would have been if he didn't get hit. You know, just
Then we
notes.
won't be needed, though.
No, and then there'll be AI commentators, and I mean, that'll be it.
It'll be a sad day.
It'll be a sad day. I don't think
because
it'll happen.
I don't think the AI commentators will have as much fun. As
There's no way you can program this much excitement into robots.
No way.
Can't
no
happen.
Way. No, this is going to be a tough goal, and as soon as it happened, I knew it would be difficult.
Yeah.
And
even before it happened, when they went into 4, and I thought it was going to happen, I went, oh, here we go. But yeah, really tough. I do not envy being one of those drivers right now, standing out in the hot tarmac, just having to watch this over and over again. So, very focused Lauri Heinonen, probably replaying in his head, like, was this my fault?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, and you do. And look, there's his spotter up there in the spotters area, looking down, looking at the big screen, watching everything that's going on, probably relaying back to the team in the pits, probably trying to work out who was at fault.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I really don't know. Every time I see a replay, I'm like, okay, well, it looks like Cirba was really checking up. He's kind of past the decel zone. And then I go back to some of the rule set and say, well, was Lauri still made the contact?
Well, there we go. The decision is in, and it's going to be Lauri Heinonen, ladies and gentlemen, taking it through to the top 16. And, of course, we're going to go to David Kalas. David, that was a tough one and a difficult one for you guys.
Yeah, immediately from the beginning, really not easy call to take, but everything did not came only to that point where the contact happened. We've been analyzing whole run where there was a lot of significant mistakes from Cirba coming to that point. Very important is look on how he's going from outer zone 4 to inner clip, really cutting it, then getting to outer zone 6 where he's over-angling, and then getting to that point. The deceleration at the outer zone 7 looks quite okay, I would say. He was maybe decelerating slightly longer, but normally if it would be alone, then we would not call it like a big problem. But the problem comes when he's over-angling at outer zone 6, then transition to outer zone 7, and there is not much space for the chaser to deal with that. So we believe that Lauri did his best to deal with this situation, and that's why we called the win for Lauri Heinonen.
Well, thank you very much, David. And talking to Lauri Heinonen, Becky's down on the ground with him. Becky, what's he got to say about that? Because that was already fireworks, and it's only the first battle he's had today.
Absolutely, guys. That's our first top 32 of the day. And Lauri, congratulations. But that looked a little sketchy. Can you give us a walkthrough of what happened there?
Thanks. Yeah, it was sketchy run. I would have liked a more cleaner run. But just going after the 7th clip on the inside, I was prepared to go on throttle. Like, the diesel is before the 7th zone, so yeah, I was confused.
And can you tell us about the setup that you've got on this car? Have you got it full grip for the heat, or is it a little bit looser in order to get the car out to those outside clipping zones?
Yeah, for the first one, I always like it a little bit loose, so I can get more comfortable. But yeah, we have still plenty more in it.
Brilliant. All right, we'll see you in top 16. Thank you, Lauri. Thank you. Back to you guys.
There's still more in it. There's more grip. In Lauri Heinenen's car, it's not turned up 110%. Yeah, he's going to be probably taking off. We're going to have to get clearance from Madrid Airport.
We are very close by, so yeah, we should probably apply for that paperwork now.
Yeah. And it's a long run in as well, so if it grew wings, it'd be gone back to Finland. Right, off to Estonia we go, because that's who's on the line. It is, of course, the one and only Oliver Randalu. He's going to be taking on Jacob Krol. Jacob Krol will pull up as the usual formation. So the usual formation falling into hand here. Oliver Randalu, the higher qualifier, sitting in 9th place. Jacob Krol yesterday telling us that he wasn't feeling comfortable. The car wasn't feeling the greatest, but did a good job in qualifying, managed to get himself into the show, and now he starts to creep already off that line and through the gears they go as Oliver Randalu leads them in that yellow E46 BMW. A nice flick to angle. Oh, look at this from Randalu, absolutely up and gone, but he's shallow on the outside zone. Big handbrake drag down into 4 as Jacob Krol on the inside of the circuit trying to make up some lost ground. And Oliver Randalu is absolutely disappearing in the distance as Jacob Krol has nothing left in this battle. He just can't hang with Oliver Randalu as they take it across the line.
Yeah, Randalu right off the gate, right off the light, was really quick, and the initiation was incredibly snappy to get that car to angle. As soon as he got to that initiation zone, had the car over, big clutch kick, didn't lose any speed. If anything, picked up speed through that entire run. But yeah, Oliver Randalu was kind of the whole story here, just really getting out as far ahead as he possibly could over Jacob Krol, who at first I thought, okay, he just kind of got caught up at initiation. Usually drivers can make their way back into the fight a little bit later on. Didn't see that from Krol. But what I did like, though, is that he stayed online for the rest of the run. He went, okay, I'm not going to get the proximity, but I'm going to run essentially a qualifying run behind him. And that way, if there is some sort of issue, at least I'm not zeroing out. I know I'm this far out, but don't do anything crazy where I could potentially get a zero in the chase, because if we swap this around, at least I finished the run without that.
Exactly that. And look, Randalu could make a mistake in his chase as well, and it could then swing back in Jacob Krol's favour. Look, this is a game of two halves at the end of the day, and it's not done until the judges drop the flag. So we will see how that one pans out. But for me, Oliver Randalu looks so fast. He looks aggressive. He looks dialed in. He looked very relaxed in the paddock yesterday. We walked around, we had a chat with him, and he was just in the zone. A lot of these guys this year, I think, haven't changed the cars, they haven't changed the plan, they've just prepared themselves for 2025, and I think that whole period of a lot of the paddock changing chassis, changing engines and all that, I think they've said, look, we need to stop, because Lauri Heinonen's not touching his car and he's just moving further into the distance away from us. So they've, you know, a lot of the teams have said, like, look, the car's fine, let's just get out and practice and try and do the best we can. We're back on the line with Oliver Randalu now in the chase position. As you can see, Jacob Krol in that carbon Kevlar S15 off the line. Through the gears they come, down, and Jacob Krol very slow. Looks like a big wobble from the front wheel there for Jacob Krol, and you can see it. The initiation held back Oliver Randalu as he now flicks in a little wobble. He's shallowed up the angle. Both guys struggling to get to outside zone 4. As now Oliver Randalu makes a dive, pushes up onto the front wheel with that S15 as they fire through down into outside zone 7. More pressure applied from the Estonian as he now works his way right onto the door and across the line.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if Jacob Krol has some sort of issue going on that he's fighting through, because that car definitely seems like it's down on speed, down on power. But a great job from Randalu of not being overly aggressive, not zeroing himself out in the chase, as we kind of talked about before. Because if that would have happened, that could have potentially gone to Jacob Krol just because of that case. So very strategic work there from Jacob Krol, who, like I was saying, probably down on some power, but Randalu aggressive, but not doing anything too aggressive that would end his weekend already.
Exactly that, yeah.
Smart but aggressive.
Smart but aggressive. Well, there we go. Beautiful phantom shots back for this weekend.
Not the best part, but I mean, it ranks probably top 3.
One of them.
Top 3.
I think my favourite is the onboards.
Yeah?
Yeah, you get the emotion, you get the whole, it's either happy or sad, and to get that insight is just spectacular sometimes.
I agree. You can learn a lot about the driver just by seeing their body language through a run.
Oh, definitely. And there we go, both guys out of the car, waiting for that decision. A little shake of the head there from Oliver Randalu. Maybe he thinks it's not as clear cut. Jacob Krol starts to remove the gloves.
It's got to be warm out there.
Yeah. I like the tinted visor and the shades. It's a look. It's
good call.
It's a Top Gun look.
I like it.
He's going for it. The whole.
Yeah. Right before they start. Smack the visor down.
Smack the visor down. We've got a lot of fans from
all over.
Continents.
I mean, that's
a lot of guys travelling.
It's amazing.
Treating this event like a holiday. We're going to Spain. We'll have a holiday. Well, here we go. Decisions in from the judges. Slide them left for Oliver Randalu, or right for Jacob Krol. Look at this. Krol already knows it's going to be Randalu. Oh, but it's a split decision. Oliver Randalu gets the win. One judge going for a one more time. Not as clear cut for him, but the other two deciding that Oliver Randalu will be the guy that goes through to the top 16, the main show. And they'll be very, very happy with that. Oliver Randalu and Jacob Krol take it back to the pits.
Get on to, I mean, I know we only got to pick one battle to highlight each, but this one deserves a lot of light here because Yves Meyer's on a heater. Completely new driver this year.
But hey, you've missed it. Jack Shanahan's decided to lead.
Oh.
Jack Shanahan decided to lead, and now there was something telling me inside Shanahan was going to chase first.
I was thinking the same thing because I know they've been working through a lot of different things. Like why not chase and
there's been
throw
a
some
lot
intensity.
of discussion down in the Shanahan paddock about, is there a game plan? Should we mix it up? Should we try it out?
I think they double switched on you.
Yeah.
And said this is it, and then went back on
the other way. But there we go on the line. Jack Shanahan to lead out Yves Meyer from Switzerland as they fire through the gears. Look at this, Yves Meyer onto the back bumper at GT6 already. But Shanahan's fast, but Yves Meyer's got the pace and the car to hang with him as they fire through. Yves Meyer perfectly timed the transition. Look at the dive from Yves Meyer as he now applies the pressure all over the side of that Toyota GT86. They fire through. It's a Toyota on Toyota affair out there on track as now Yves Meyer goes for the kill one more time across the line. Yves Meyer
This
out
is what
of
I was
nowhere.
saying. Listen, if you watch practice, this is not out of nowhere. He is in form.
This is why I don't watch practice.
You get excited. Hey, no, it's perfect. You watch it to be excited and surprised. I watch it to be informed and prepared. But that was such a good dive from Yves Meyer and Jack Shanahan up front. You know he's going to be fast. Holds that line so well. Look at that adjustment from Jack Shanahan.
That's
and then Meyer
beautiful.
right in there. Oh, such a good run from both of these drivers. Jack Shanahan drives exactly how you expect him to drive every time. Heads up, no games, as fast as possible, holding a decent amount of angle throughout the entire run. That is a typical Jack Shanahan run. Yves Meyer's read the notes,
he read the notes. He studied the notes.
He did.
He watched all of the tapes. Do you know what I love about that run? Yves Meyer matched the angle.
I know.
He got in the pocket, matched the angle. Okay, it was a little slack here on that transition. He waited for Shanahan, but look, made the dive down. He was deeper on that inside zone than Shanahan. Goes for that back bumper across the line. I tell you, that's the best chase we've seen from Yves Meyer so far. And if this guy can keep driving like that from 2025, boy, are we going to have some season.
There's something to be said about being a new dad. He's got dad strength now.
Yeah,
that is something we are not factoring
he's got
in
that
here.
Confidence.
Yeah. And he's got
points to prove as well. He's got to show his son.
You got something more to drive for.
Yeah.
You have more motivation than you ever have. You got a kid, imagine pointing back to the TV, this was the day that I took down
Watch
Jack
this.
Shanahan.
You know Jack Shanahan, that guy that's like, he won everything in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I was on his door. There was no,
It was Spain.
Couldn't get away.
It was Spain, 2025.
Well, here we go. They're back on the line. Yves Meyer now will be full of confidence as we see those amber lights illuminate. He goes green. He jumps off the line, breaks that beam, and Shanahan's going to be in the car thinking, well, I need to pull it all out of the bag. Oh, look at the flick from Yves Meyer. Big clutch kick as he puts that GR Super across the circuit. But Shanahan not letting him get away. The spotters would have told him that he needs to be all over the side of that blue Super as they come down, pick up the zones, and Yves Meyer doing an incredible job out front, puts that car to angle, comes down, picks up the inner zone. Shanahan onto the door, onto the rear bumper.
Oh, man, wild. Listen, Yves Meyer, it's one thing to have a great chase, and then sometimes it falls apart a bit in the lead. That did not happen here. Jack Shanahan, though, did not underestimate the driving of Yves Meyer at any point during this run. Knew that he was driving well, would have been somebody who's watching practice, taking those notes and going like, he's on one. He's absolutely on one. Both drivers. We talked about all the battles being finals battles. This could easily be a finals battle.
Any day of the week.
Any day of the week. Both drivers side by side through the entire run. Yves Meyer is doing a good job of filling out that whole line. Jack Shanahan never lets him get away. Never lets him show him up at any point in time during this run. Pulls just a little bit tighter in here, but I like how Jack is not taking a ton of angle out of the car.
Yeah.
He pulls, maybe 5-10 degrees out just to gain that proximity. And you can see one Toyota hunting down the other. What a mean looking shot.
Man, that's such a good
So
shot.
mean looking. Oh, great back. Yeah.
I tell you what, it's going to be whatever way this swings from the judge's point of view.
You get Jack there, the spotter is telling him, push.
This is going to be a shame to see either of these guys leave competition in top 32 because they were pushing so hard. And
yeah, it's really interesting. Maybe we'll get into more about what the Wally system's saying after we get our judges' decision to see how it all stacks up.
Yeah, well, here we go. Left for Shanahan, right for Yves Meyer, and it's one for Shanahan. It's going to be two. It's going to be Jack Shanahan taking it through to the top 16. Yves Meyer bows out of competition, but my God, that guy is on a heater this year, and I expect big things from the man from Switzerland.
Yeah, big things. Do not be upset by this, Yves Meyer, because if he can drive like this for the rest of the year, he's got a real shot at a championship.
Oh,
he's only going to get better.
He's only going to get better.
Right.
And he's been progressively getting better throughout the last few years. So, I mean, he's come back with 2025 with a different attitude, and now it shows. We go back on the line. Well, to a guy from Finland and a guy from Norway, this one could end in any way possible.
Yeah.
Two of the biggest Toyotas on the grid. It will be Oran Nilsen to lead out Jarkko Jylha from Finland in this crazy JZX 100. He puts a thumb up to the camera. The wild card in Finland a few years back, now back for a full season in 2025. And the cool, calm collectiveness of Oran Nilsen slams the car in gear, gets ready to break that beam as the light goes green for Oran Nilsen. You can see the hammer drop, and look at Jarkko Jylha already there, already up alongside as he falls into formation. A big flick from Nilsen as he now puts foot to floor, starts to try and drive away from Jarkko Jylha. Down they come, nice line, both in formation into outside zone 4 as they pick up the throttle back. Up and down the hill they come as Jarkko Jylha just hangs back ever so slightly, gives Oran Nilsen some room to manoeuvre, but now makes a dive as they get it across the line.
Yeah, the battle of the big-bodied cars, that's what this is all about. A lot of wheelbase, a lot of overhang in both these cars, although the overhang, no advantage here in Spain, but both drivers, solid run. Nothing super crazy, nothing out of wild or out of the normal. Minimal adjustments from both of them. You know, the great thing about chasing and driving a big body car like that is you got a huge target to aim for on both sides of it. But yeah, both drivers, Oran Nilsen and Jarkko Jylha, great work. Couple of small corrections here or there as they get through this run. You have to remember too, when you've got those longer wheelbases, they won't be as snappy.
No.
It's not going to come to angle as quick. They're going to just generally look a little more lazy just because of the way that the car ends up driving. But there is a huge benefit in that they end up looking a lot smoother throughout the run. So, you know, great job from both drivers. I'm excited because the next pairing, whoever they're going against, is going to be nasty. And I mean, I don't want to even get that far ahead. I'm already looking at top 60.
You're already looking through.
Dude, I'm filling out fantasy brackets. No,
it's the second day of the job.
Not calm down.
Good, that's what we've got you for. Well, there we go. The big Finnish contingency in the building and showing themselves already. And I tell you what, when we get to Finland, it gets crazy because those guys they go hard for their Finnish drivers.
I'm very excited to experience that.
Well, here we go. Jarkko Jylha pulls to the line, told to stop by a start line marshal. Marcin is back for us for 2025. Look at the positioning of Oran Nilsen. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to dive across the circuit, get straight on the back bumper of that JZX1. That car looks beautiful.
It looks so good.
Such a clean, precise build, and so well put together.
They kept the rear doors working too, so they can access everything. There is a huge benefit to that.
Yeah, they're clever.
When you have to work on it, like you just open the back door, you crawl in the back.
Just get in the back.
Can't do that with the Supra.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
Good luck working in the back of the Supra.
Well, here we go. Anti-lag firing as the gears are slamming through. They go down off that start line. Jarkko Jylha looks like he's a little slower compared to Oran Nilsen. As Oran Nilsen already over the back bumper, already over the side of the car as he flicks it through. Oran Nilsen already losing body panels. They slow for outside zone 4 and that catches Nilsen out. As Jylha now on a nice line gets that car right to the outside edge of the circuit. Oran Nilsen goes for a big dive down the inside. He goes, tries to put that Sora right to the front wheel, and he does. Tags the door 1, 2, 3 times.
Very, very pro-level moves in this run from both drivers. Oran Nilsen made a mistake, did not overreact, did not freak out, and then waited for his time to fight back. It's such a difficult thing not to panic behind the wheel, but Norwegian's definitely known for not panicking. They are cool and calm, and you can see here, he just lost that bit of angle. Has to grab the e-brake, has to dive in a little bit harder. You can see the corrections, the fighting, gearing down to get back into the pocket, and then when they transition, coming at a 5 here, this is where you see Oran Nilsen. Look, it times it and then gets in perfectly. It's so difficult to do that, especially when there's, you know, a meter of overhang coming from the car behind you, or a car in front of you. And then you've got another, you know, half a meter of bumper up front. It's so difficult, and you have to rethink and relearn. But drivers that drive these large cars from the beginning do well in them throughout their career. And you often find when they swap to a smaller chassis, it's a bigger struggle.
They can't adapt.
Yeah, they will. It just takes a bit longer.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Fans are loving it. Look at how packed it is.
Yeah, we're sold out here at the Drama Express circuit in Madrid. All the grandstands full, all the banking full. A lot of fans in the house supporting Drift Masters. At round 2. And Oran Nilsen looks a little nervous there, a little clench of the hands, maybe.
He's rethinking that one mistake.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Who's going to take it through to the top 16? Oh, and we could have a split. Oh, and it's going to be a one more time, a split decision. David Kalas thought that Oran Nilsen was going to get it. Vernon and Matthias, well, they thought that it was a one more time. I mean, look, from my side of the board, maybe better to go with the one more time.
Yeah.
There was a few mistakes either way, swinging backwards and forwards. I would like to have seen a cleaner chase from both drivers, a little bit more proximity. Oran Nilsen made those big dives, as you alluded to. He made that panic in the chase positioning outside zone 4 as well. Look, let them calm the nerves. First battle of top 32 is always very nervous for a lot of these guys, especially being the season opener. We're going to move it along and let those guys reset, refigure it out, and get tyres and fuel in those cars. And back, we go back to the start line to Connor Shanahan to take on a good friend of his, Clint Van Oort.
Yeah. Very, very excited for this one. Had a great conversation with Clint and his family last night. They fed me a traditional Dutch dish, and I was hanging out. I'm trying to just get in with all
the culture.
I had coffee in the morning with the Shanahans.
Yep.
I had dinner in the evening with the Van Oorts. I'm everywhere, man. If there's a free meal, I'm right there.
You're just here for the food, is that it? Is that it?
The drifting's an added bonus.
Oh, okay, there we go. Right, Clint Van Oort in that brand new chassis for 2025. Looks the same as 24, but it is a brand new build, a brand new car, and he said it works better than ever. He's so happy with the chassis. Shanahan back in that GT86. Look at this from Van Oort. He knows that Shanahan's fast as he now creeps through.
Ooh.
Oh,
Restart.
and we get a restart.
You can see those red flashing lights. So
yeah.
Restart is triggered when the lead driver either breaks the beam before the green light hits or does not leave within 1 second of the green light going up.
Yeah, and they get a strike.
Yes.
So Connor Shanahan will get a strike. And Connor Shanahan a little frustrated in the car here with our start line Marshall Martin. And trying to understand what's going on. And Martin just trying to calm him down a little bit, saying, look, it's all good. Right, he gets the thumbs up.
Oh, see, this is why. So I think Connor just wasn't ready, didn't get the indication from our grid line starter there that they were going to start running the lights. So not a big deal, a little bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah.
But just one strike.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens. And this is a new system for a lot of these drivers. So they've got to be ready. And there we go. We're going to be very clear now.
Yeah, I mean, look, our start line Marshall Martin, been with us for many, many years now, knows the procedure very well, and he's going to make sure that Connor Shanahan knows exactly what Martin's going to do before he presses that light. Look, door's shut this time, no messing around. He's going to walk up, give him the thumbs up, then he's going to press the light, and you'll see that light count down. As soon as it goes green, Shanahan has to break the beam, can't jump before it. Look at the light, we're not and there we go, we get a green light this time as they are through, and down they come through the gears. Clint Van Oort, a bit of separation now. That restart may have shook Clint Van Oort ever so slightly, but he's trying to get himself back into the fight. Now he's hustling and bustling, trying to get down, and he's going to make contact with the front wheel. Oh, wow! How did Clint Van Oort keep himself out of trouble there? As Clint Van Oort is absolutely hustling and tussling, trying to get himself back into that fight, onto the rear wheel. He jumps. This is scrappy from Van Oort, but he gets himself in the question. Yeah, very, very scrappy. A little disjointed, a little wild. I mean, just a crazy chase run there. I had a little moment there when they got into 4. It was a little bit of a flashback from yesterday. Well, superseding the driver like that, but able to get things checked up. An expert move from Clint Van Oort, but Connor Shanahan out front does a really good job of this entire run. Textbook Connor Shanahan once again. All of our drivers are kind of just fulfilling the prophecies that and all the rumors about them in the way that they drive. Yeah. Connor collected, hits all the zones, aggressive, but doesn't do anything wild. Clint Van Oort, bit of a wild man. Yeah, we saw that here. When they swap this around, though, that's where Connor's got to adapt a little bit. He knows Clint is being very, very aggressive in the chase. I don't expect that to change in the lead, and Connor's going to have to dial it up just a bit. Yeah, I think for me, Clint was too over-aggressive. He lost that ground after initiation, and I think he panicked and thought that Connor was going to drive away from him. So then what he done was he tried to make that big dive on outside zone 4, and that's kind of where he overdrove the car. He made that dive, like you say, superseded, dropped down on the inside of the circuit, went past the front axle, and then had to readjust, had to collect himself and get back into the fight. And I think from there on out, Shanahan's just out front doing his thing, stuck to that qualifying line. And Clint Van Oort at the back saying, I'm going to make a load of mistakes here, but I'm going to try and get myself in the question. Yeah, it's tough, and I mean for Connor as well, having that restart. That restart, yeah. That's going to mess with your head a bit. A lot of these drivers have a pattern when they get up to the line. They do something, they check the gear, they'll pull the e-brake to make sure it's working. They have a very set pattern and ritual in the car. That'd make a great segment, just looking at the start line rituals, all these drivers. Yeah, but having to restart, you know, it kind of messes with your mojo a little bit. It does. It does mess with these guys' mojo because they have to go back, start again, and do all of that over again. As Clint Van Oort now sits in that lead position. And off the line he goes. Connor Shanahan would have been told, look, it was scrappy. We still need to stay with him. Big click, big flick from Clint as he fires that car through. Now Clint Van Oort starts to pull some ground on Shanahan. You can see Shanahan trying to get that car where it needs to be, but Van Oort struggles to get to outside zone 4. He's trying to pull away from Shanahan. You can see the pace of the car, pulling the body panels clean off that S14. As Clint Van Oort once again back on throttle, big clutch kick, up the hill he goes and across the line.
If Clint can dial in the smoothness of his run, drive with that much speed and aggression, but just be a little bit smoother, I don't know if anybody be able to stop him. Because that is the last ingredient to this Dutch cake, is just a little smoother. Connor Shanahan, though, very expert. Look at checking, forward and back, waiting to see when that initiation is going to occur, figuring out where he is on track, make sure he doesn't overshoot. Does a really good job through here. I would like to see Connor to be a bit more aggressive, but Clint did not do a great job through outside zone 4. Connor made the smart play of holding back a little bit, especially in that zone. It's a very dangerous spot, so you have to be careful. But Connor could have been closer through this run, but tough to chase when the driver up front is a little bit all over the place and kind of erratic.
I was just going to say, it's very hard to chase someone who's being erratic or wild and making crazy moves and crazy dives across a circuit. And I think for me, Clint Van Oort just not looking clean. It's not a nice flow.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I do like that style of aggressive driving.
That splitter is not cool. It's not having a good time.
No, I wish I could make a sound effect over it. I'm not going to, though. No one needs that. But yeah.
I didn't have any handbrake. I was trying to pull.
Oh, he had no handbrake.
So there we go.
That's
why.
why.
We figured out the issue straight away. He had no handbrake.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense then. Why he couldn't get into 4, tried to grab the handbrake, wasn't able to. Probably had to clutch kick it in, so or lock up all the brakes. And Connor Shanahan.
Yeah, decision's in. Shanahan gets the win. He breathes a sigh of relief, and well, that's 2 Shanahans through to the top 16, and it's looking good already for the Shanahan camp down there in the paddock.
And that's the same spotter he uses over in FD as well. That's Matt's. I've known Matt's for many years now.
Many years, yeah.
Yeah, great guy. One of the smartest minds in drifting. He does not miss anything.
Really?
Very, very smart spotter.
Maybe we need to get him in here.
Yeah, we should. Get him in here.
Yeah, you and him, not me.
No, I couldn't do that.
No, I'm not smart enough. But there we go, Shanahan getting the win, going back to the paddock, and even he has a little sigh of relief after the drama on the start line. He gets the job done still. We go back to the start line. It's going to be Kevin Piskolty to take on Alexei Holovnia from Ukraine. Piskolty was a man that, at the beginning of the weekend, I kind of said, could it be the weekend for him? Because Piskolty's looking good. He's looking on form. He's feeling confident. 300 more horsepower underneath the bonnet of this BMW E92. It's Kevin Pesur awaits the battle with Alex Holovnia. Piskolty choosing to lead as well, so he knows exactly what he needs to do as Holovnia now starts to creep already. Piskolty off that start line, big clutch kick across the circuit, then opens up all the power off that V8. Oh, look at this from Holovnia, fires that car, almost throws 2 wheels off circuit. It's deep. Oh, it's a big one. As he rips the wheels off the car.
Literally. Okay, wow, that ended as good as it could have, considering what was going on. But Piskolty, very, very quick off the launch there. I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I was worried as soon as he came to that first outside zone of how fast he was going.
Yeah, you could see the pace because Holovnia was so fast that it looked like he was out of control.
Yeah.
Look, don't get me wrong. Kevin Pesur had a hold of it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really, it didn't show its face of how bad it was until he got into 4. Look at this, you can see him fully locked up on that foot brake. He's back on throttle, but it goes wide instantly because he's carrying so much speed. I don't think he anticipated how fast he was going at that point. As soon as he tagged that wall, it just ripped the rear wheel clean off the car. Look at how fast he's going through this section.
And he doesn't even e-brake. He's just floating the rear end of the car out. And so this also plays into how fast the track is getting, that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Rubbering in more, the heat of the sun.
I'll bet you he was going even a few kilometers faster than he was ready for or used to from previously, or the e-brake, because we saw no e-brake pull through that entire thing. He just clutched in and kind of floated the car out. But yeah, lucky that's the worst of the damage is a bit of cosmetic and a wheel for sure.
Yeah, look at this. As soon as he goes over that white line, he's on that marbles, and you can see Holovnia on the handbrake trying to slow that car down.
Oh, man. Yeah, tough one. Tough one there from Kevin Piskolty. But very happy. That was the only damage we saw. Oh.
He might have almost seen that wheel overtake the car. Look at that.
Absolutely wild. And for Holovnia, did the right thing, got out of the way, saw it happening in front of him.
Started to drop down on the inside already. He knew what was happening there.
Yeah, and there's probably a gut instinct from Holovnia going into it, going, that guy's going way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you could see on initiation, Holovnia had already dropped wheels over because, I mean, Kevin Pesur come off that start line, full throttle, threw that car in, and I think Holovnia was like, we are going way faster than I've been going all day.
Yeah, which, when you start to get into the battles, you want to do that. You want to be more aggressive. You know, okay, this isn't qualifying anymore. I need to drive at 10 tenths. He just went to 11 tenths. That was the issue. But sometimes that is the edge. The other part, too, is we talked about yesterday, the marbles, so the little bits of tire that come off, they start to bounce off the wall and come back onto the track. Those are going to start to add up throughout the day. You get just a touch too deep in that zone, you start to get into those marbles. There's nothing else you can do. You can actually see in the back corner there the track staff sweeping some of those away.
Yeah, trying to get them away from the line that furthest white line back, away from the edge of the circuit, and you can see a very dejected Kevin Pesur making his way off circuit there. Back to the paddock, that car will be recovered, and I don't know if you see it in the slow-mo, the coil-over, all of the rear suspension was all failed as well, all pulled out the back of the car.
It's supposed to, though, in some ways. You would rather that start to come apart and take the impact as opposed to a frame.
The chassis.
Subframe, stuff like that, stuff that's actually going to bend the whole chassis. You want it to be the little stuff you can replace, not the big stuff that requires a new car.
Exactly that. So there we go. Kevin Pesur makes his way off the circuit. And unfortunately, that will be the weekend over for the young man from Hungary. And such a shame, because he's always such a good attitude, such a big smile on his face, but not going to be the weekend for Kevin Pesur.
No, not what he wanted, not what anybody wants. Nobody wants to win that way either.
No, certainly not. Well, there we go. Some upsets already, some very close battles, and we called this yesterday, Jacob. We said that top 32 was going to be incredibly close, incredibly tight, and it's delivering.
Yeah, it's the way that competition goes, especially when you start to see other drivers doing better. And Piskolty, qualifying 12th, great qualifying position, but when you're in 12th, you immediately start looking, okay, well, who did what in 10th? Who did what in 5th? Who qualified first? How are they driving? What were they doing? Where were they entering? Because that's another conversation you'll start hearing drivers have is, hey, where were you entering on track? When did you pull the e-brake? When did you make this transition? And it almost becomes a bit of a dare in between them, unintentionally. It's like, oh, it was here. This was my breaking point.
A little fake news.
Yeah, and they'll start pushing the limit a little bit more. And this is one of those crossing the line to know where it lays. And unfortunately, the other side of the line is a big concrete wall.
Yeah. Not fun. There's no fun over that line.
No.
There's nowhere to have any fun.
No, not fun at all.
Well, we're almost through one half of our top 32 bracket before we get into the second half. Still got one more time battle to go between Nilsen and Jylha. And of course, we're going to make that official that Kevin Pesur will not compete for the rest of the weekend. And Alexei Holovnia gets the win from Ukraine and advances through to that top 16.
Yeah, and Holovnia's got, it's going to be a tough one. He's going to be up against a Connor Shanahan who's on fire. So I'm already looking at top 16.
You have to rein it back. I know it's too easy. We look at the battle sheets in front of us, and we look at the info we have, and we're like, oh god, some of these battles are going to be insane.
Yeah, and I like to start looking at stylistic matchups. And yeah.
Here we go.
Good job, graphics
there
team.
We go.
Yeah. No, I want to start looking at car setups, speed, what everyone else has done.
I think the first battle of top 16 is going to be electric. Jason Banet.
Second one's pretty nuts, too.
Yep. So we're yet to find out who Jack Shanahan will battling, because we've got one more time between Nilsen and Jylha. Connor Shanahan will face off against Alexei Holovnia. And we've still got all of these drivers yet to go. And we are hearing news from the paddock that Dave Egan's cylinder head is going back onto the engine. So, look, these little breaks in the action, these little accidents, these judging decisions, they're getting a few minutes here and there, just extra to make sure that car is together, and he will make it out for that battle against none other than Jylha, who is not going to be an easy contender for Dave Egan. But, hey, there's only one way to find out if you're the
Exactly.
best of the best, and that's battle the best from around the world.
Dave did say he was going to try and make sure his interview was as long as possible to give his team as much of an advantage getting that cylinder head back on. So
Okay.
he gave us the heads up. But
So from now on, we just don't interview Dave Egan anymore.
no, he's going to tie us up.
Yeah,
but-
he's going to, yeah.
No, he's got an incredible team over there, and it's really cool to hear about all the different teams helping out in all these situations. It's not just, oh, I know this guy. I mean, everybody knows each other here.
Yeah.
Everybody's friends here. I will say that's probably one of the best things that I've experienced this weekend is how welcoming every driver, every team. People are making a point. If I'm walking by, they're coming out of their pits and, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to introduce myself. I want to make sure you know my story and how to pronounce my name and all that stuff. But no, it's been phenomenal, and that courtesy and that welcomeness and openness, that's not just for me. That's for everybody. It's with the fans. It's with other drivers, other staff. It's super, super cool to see the camaraderie in this paddock.
Yeah, exactly that. And look, we spoke about that yesterday when Jacob Przygonski put that GR86 into the wall. There was teams from every corner of the paddock coming to help him fix that car to get out for qualifying. And it paid off because he got himself into the show.
Yeah.
And he managed to make it into top 32. You know, look, given the opportunity now, there would have been more teams out there helping everyone else. But look, this is the impact yesterday. I mean, from a mechanic perspective, I would have said there's a slim chance of getting that car back out for qualifying, given the time they had. But the paddock, the teams in the paddock were like, nah, he'll be there.
We're going to do it.
We'll make sure he's there.
Yeah.
And obviously, Jacob Przygonski, renowned for Dakar driving and all sorts of motorsport. That team can adapt and overcome. And look at this, he made it out for qualifying, got the job done, he got himself into the show. Yeah, the car looks a little battered and bruised and it isn't as pretty as it was on day one, but hey, what really matters is being out on track and making it work.
It looks great now, though.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yeah, no,
I
that's
haven't
great.
seen it. We
You would
left
never
here
know.
late last night and we heard grinders and sanders and drilling and banging, and the paddock was closed, and I was like, maybe we'll come back tomorrow and it will look like a Ferrari. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing in there?
Full body swap.
A full body swap.
Sorry to the guy in the parking lot with the Ferrari missing his body, though.
Yeah, if there's any GR86s in the area missing parts, it could be Kuba Przygonski. Right, we're down back on the line to kick off the first battle of the other half of our bracket of top 32, and it will be Pontus Hartman with a bye run. Unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, Vichek unable to make it back into competition for today. And Pontus Hartman, look, he puts his hands in the air, and I interviewed him, and he said, this is not what I wanted.
No.
I wanted to do it on the tarmac. I wanted to go fair and square. And we're going to see a very cool shot here as we go on board with Pontus Hartman live, as we see it live from the drone.
Yeah, and you can really see what the inputs are like. So there's the e-brake drag as you're looking in the right-hand corner and how that pushes the car out. Look how calm he is, a couple of small corrections with the wheel. Nothing too major, though. As he transitions, grabbing the e-brake even before the transition happens helps break the rear end of the car free to get it to slide around. But great job through there. Another little e-brake pull to whip it back. And I mean, a solid run. Qualifying-wise, that's like a top 10 qualifier just for a bye run.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
that's a really good run. It just goes to show you the confidence these guys have got now over a day or so of getting the job done, and practice this morning as well early.
Comes out for the fans.
Yeah, of course. These guys are showmen, right? They
Yeah.
love to get out for the fans, give them a big wave, and we do make it official as Pontus Hartman will get the win and advance through to the top 16. And the man from Sweden will be looking forward to who he has to battle. And I tell you what, it's not going to be easy either way, because both of those contenders in the next battle are heavy hitters as well.
Yeah, a great battle coming up next. I don't think we're going back to our one more time quite yet.
No, not just yet.
So yeah, Itay Sadeh and Marco Sakouril is going to be our next battle. Both drivers really coming up through practice. Solid runs. Didn't see any massive mistakes from either of them. Just kind of putting in the laps, putting in the time, just making it happen.
Now, this could be interesting.
Okay.
Two younger drivers on the grid.
Ooh, okay.
Will they now switch it up for the lead and chase?
Well,
because we've seen a lot of people, a lot of the older generational drivers, guys that have been in it a long time, sticking to what they know. Itay Sadeh, the higher qualifier, sitting in 15th position, Marco Sakouril down in 18th. Will he swap it up? And he does.
There you go.
And I
And
knew
the
he
judges,
would. And
the
I had this
judges.
feeling the young guys are going to play. They're going to play the games.
So the young drivers are probably used to chasing first more, because as you come up, you're not going to be qualifying super high right out of the gate. There's obviously a bunch of drivers that are young that do, rank really high, but for a lot of them, when you're into your first couple of events, that's going to be the case.
Right, but hold on, we've got drama already unfolding on the start line. Right, we have a 2-minute timer clock here at Drift Masters, and you know the rules by now if you've been following us along for a while, and that is as soon as that 2-minute clock is activated by one car pulling to the line, the other car has to get there. Marco Sakouril is still down the back of the grid. Our start line Marshall Martin's down there with him and the rest of the Drift Masters team. Does it look like he's going to get it to the line?
I'm not sure.
Oh, and I think he's bent a steering arm already. Oh, he's bent a steering arm, warming the car up in the tyre warming area. This guy can never get a break.
Oh. It's so unfortunate. Yeah, and yeah, nobody wants to win this way. Nobody wants to lose this way, that's for sure. I think it speaks to a few things here. One, how insanely grippy these tires are.
Yeah.
That if there's any question as to how much bite in these tires.
I'm going to say as well, it's how grippy the track has got.
Right.
Because the tyre warming area will probably have about the same amount of rubber on it as the rest of the track. If it's bending steering arms, warming the tyres, how sticky is that track right now?
Yeah, it's super sticky. It gives you a lot of advantages when you need to catch the car. A lot of disadvantages, though, because you're going to be going faster than what you might expect. So
yeah,
your
which
timing,
is probably what caught Kevin Pesur up.
Yeah, your timing is different now, and we're talking about a 1/10 of a second in a lot of cases, a fraction of a millisecond, you know, almost nothing. But here, when we're running this close to everything, that millisecond is the difference between filling the zone and, you know, hitting the wall. So,
well, this is just going to be for clarification. And it's job done already for Itay Sadeh. All he has to do is initiate on that first corner. He doesn't need to make a full pass of the circuit. He has to prove that car works and he can initiate, and he did that. So he will advance through to the top 16. But again, this track is throwing up some real surprises.
And the track surface itself is quite nice. Like, it's not overly aggressive. It's not tearing the tires to shreds. It's rubbering in very, very well. You're not seeing a lot of it flaking off either. There's a point where you get so much rubber on the track it starts to flake off. When I was checking it out this morning and even last night, I didn't see any of that. So it's kind of just taking layer and layer of rubber over and over again, just gripping up even more. So the drivers, the spotters, everyone will start taking note of that, going, okay, this is really fast now.
Well, there we go as we jump on board with Itay Sadeh for a run of the track. As he puts himself into top 16, Marco Sakouril. I mean,
unfortunate.
I have no words. He's been so close before. We see it time and time again. This guy very close to success, and then all of a sudden, something just comes out of nowhere and says, "Not this weekend, buddy."
Yeah, I'll bet you everybody is double checking parts now.
Yeah,
I would. I'd be under that car again. One more nut and bolt check. One more. Is everything straight? Is everything ready to go?
Well, here we go. Back on the line we go. It's going to be Connor Falvey to take on Jacob Przygonski. And you're right, that car does look just how it did on Friday morning for the photo shoot. As Piskolty sits in the car, geared up, ready to go. But he's going to be taking on the Rookie of the Year in 2024. It is, of course, Drift Game's very own Connor Falvey, a man that's feeling very confident. His dad said, look, he came here last year, all he wanted to do was qualify. He said to his dad, this weekend, all I want to do this year is win.
Oh, step up. Now, Falvey, though, taking the lead.
Yeah, Falvey taking the lead, decided to take that lead position, stick to the old way as he fires that car in, that S15, up and gone as he puts foot to floor, that carbon Kevlar S15, not messing around, but out of the smoke. From nowhere comes Przygonski, he's going wide, oh, contact, hits the rear wheel, puts them both into a spin.
Wow, just going hard. That's what this is. Connor Falvey right out of the blocks, very, very fast. Did not opt for a feint entry, just clutch kicked in and just took off. But
there's a lot of money's worth of body panels just getting ripped off there.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Welcome to drifting.
Yeah, the tracker are like, we don't care what it's made from.
No, that's not the important bit.
We just remove it.
Yeah, it just covers all the hard work around it.
Oh, looks, yeah, I wonder if there is bent steering, maybe an issue. So look at this, Connor Falvey fires in, he's on throttle. Oh, is he not on throttle?
That's going to be the next question.
This is going to be the next question for the judges, and I can see the judges going over and over and over that replay. We see you updating your telemetrics.
They should never have given me this much information.
Yeah, listen, you're getting spoiled. I've got a feeling that Falvey's off throttle.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Look
here,
at this.
so.
Watch the rear wheels of Connor Falvey's car on the handbrake for a long time. Goes to jump on throttle. Maybe it's a little loose there, and you can see Przygonski slowing.
Yeah, tough to say. It does look like through part of that zone, he's keeping relatively the same speed, if not a potential slowdown as he's exiting that zone. Tough to say, though. Really, really tough. The next question, though, ends up becoming, is Przygonski too aggressive coming in? Because he's way offline. Way, way offline.
I would not want to be a judge. That's all I'm saying. I do not want to be a judge. We're trying to look back and see what's going on. Big contact from both these guys. And Przygonski's GR86 has took a lot of hits this weekend. It's more hits than the Beatles. Let's just put it out there.
That's a lot of hits.
It's a lot of hits.
A lot of hits.
Look at that. Kevlar flying everywhere.
Beautiful chaos.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It looks beautiful, but it's heartbreaking at the same time.
It's like watching a volcano erupt. It's beautiful and chaotic. And
we're on board with Przygonski. I guess he's going back to the start line. Yeah, he's going to whip that car around, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on here. Now, look, what we need to know is if Connor Falvey deems that he can't drive his car, this is going to come back to the judges. They're going to have to determine who is at fault, whether they deem Connor Falvey at fault or Przygonski, whether they get a competition timeout if he needs one. We're going to find out what is going to happen. If Connor Falvey whips his car around and goes back to the start line, no, he's going to take it back.
Okay.
So we are going to get that information, and we are being told that Przygonski is at fault for the contact. So look how damaged the front of that car is. I think while we got a quick second, I'm going to just ask David Kalas, Przygonski on the wrong line there, David. Is that where it comes down to?
Yes, exactly. The thing is that we can see that the run from Connor was not completely clean, but we need to find out which driver is more to blame. And as Kuba was running really, really inside line, then it was bigger mistake than small hiccup from Connor. That's why we are blaming Kuba for that contact.
Okay, so yeah, and you see that as well, that you said to me that look at the telemetrics, you're pointing at it going, look at the numbers, Ian. I'm like, I can't see anything.
Show me the numbers.
Yeah, you were saying to me, look, you can see him there slightly decel throughout that zone. He wasn't gaining speed, he wasn't picking up any speed. If anything, he was slowing ever so slightly. But because of where Przygonski was on this transition, watch this, he's very close on that transition. Falvey goes for that line. He's in the zone, but look at Przygonski, fires down the inside, and he's going to gain more speed because he's lower down on that bank, and that's what causes the contact.
Yeah, Connor's making a very, very minimal adjustment. When I say he's not picking up the most amount of speed, we only saw a change in a couple of kilometers an hour, but Kuba's closing speed would have far superseded that. So yeah, Kuba just being way offline, comes in real tight, and oh man, you can see, did he throw a thumbs up before contact? Is that what I saw there?
I think he was like, there we go.
Sorry, bro. Yeah.
Right, here we go. So we're going to move it along. Obviously, we're going to wait for Connor Falvey. He'll be back down in the paddock. He will be awarded a 10-minute competition timeout to get that car checked out or repaired. We're going to go back to the one more time battle between Oran Nilsen and Jacob Jylha to try and get that side of the bracket completed. It's crazy. Nothing's changed. It's Drift Masters 2025. The crazy circus has hit town, and this is going to go on throughout the rest of 2025. I hope you are ready, Jacob.
I don't think I am.
This is just a warm-up.
I know. I don't think I'm ready for this. I mean, I've spent the last 4 months watching Drift Masters almost every day. It's been a lot. I feel like I hear you in my sleep now.
You do, yeah?
Yeah. Sometimes
everyone talks and it's just my voice.
It's just you. That's
amazing.
There's no car sounds anymore.
Somebody said to me they wonder if they could get my voice on a sat-nav. That's what they asked for. It
I would
could
like
be a new cell.
I would like the unedited version of that. That would be great.
Right, here we go. Scrappy last time from both guys in the chase position. The leads weren't 110%, but those nerves are now calmed after that first battle. Can these guys get it done in this first one more time battle? Oran Nilsen opts to lead first, the higher qualifiers. Jacob Jylha pulls up to the line to chase down the Norwegian driver. And Jacob Jylha probably thinking, well, I know what I need to do. We've watched back the footage from the first battle. I need to be closer. I need to be cleaner. He gives a thumbs up to our start line marshal, bangs that car into gear as they go through the gears now. Off the start line they go. Jacob Jylha still not into formation, waits for that flick across the circuit and takes a little closer dive down. As Oort Nilsen puts that car right where it needs to be. It's scrappy once again from Jarkko Jylha. A little wandering and wavering, no proximity at the moment from the Finnish driver as Oort Nilsen puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Now Jarkko Jylha starts to gain some ground, but he's still not in the conversation as Nilsen takes it across the line.
Yeah, I need to apologize to Oort Nilsen, because I said earlier that large body cars like this can't transition quick.
Oh, yeah.
I was proved wrong.
I wasn't going to say anything,
Yeah.
and I was like, you wait,
yeah.
you wait.
He figures it out, and I really think that's part of the reason why he was able to pull a bit of a gap here on Jarkko Jylha. He's able to just out-drive and out-maneuver him in a lot of these cases, and that's why you start to see a bit of that gap for him. There was nothing that indicated to me he was trying to run away. There was no like cutting the line or missing zones or anything like that. It was just a matter of driving that little bit harder, and it took Jylha the entire basically run to get into the pocket near the end of the run. That's just how it is. Sometimes you get out-driven,
Yeah.
but we swap it around. It's the best part of drifting. Just because you're behind the ace a little bit, you swap it around, and now it's a new game.
It's a new
because
game.
an incident or something crazy can happen in that. You can feel like you're behind. You can feel like you're not going to win, and you just push that bit harder, and the chase driver can't hang. And next thing you know, you're moving to top 16. So
Exactly that. Well, I think for me, it's Jarkko Jylha's positioning when he comes off the line, that chase position. And you see a lot of these guys when they're going hard and very close proximity, they're on the back bumper straight away.
Right.
So as soon as they clutch kick to initiation, they're down on the inside, straight onto the door. Jarkko Jylha takes this weird line across the track and kind of fires the car in. I don't think it's working for him as much as he'd like. And as we can see, body panel.
but it might work in the lead.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of those things. It might end up working in the lead, and we'll have to see here as our start line crew disassembling a bit of
Oort
Oort
Nilsen's
Nilsen's
quite
car.
renowned for taking weight out of his car throughout the competition.
Okay,
It will
gotcha.
just be a roll cage by
It's
the end of the
a
year.
great strategy.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's good, yeah.
Because really, they only have to weigh in at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
not at the end of the event.
There we go, Oort Nilsen sits on the line ready to rock and roll. Oh, and we've got some smoke from under the bonnet. More drama on the start line down there as Marcin has a look to investigate if there could be fire. Potentially could just be chunks of rubber that
Could
come
be.
off the wheel into the manifold.
It looked like the turbo or the manifold that was smoking just a little bit as they're already snapping those latches back down. That does happen quite a lot. A
Yeah.
lot of rubber gets flung up, and it can find its way into some unique places.
Yeah, and it looks like Marcin, he doesn't want to put his hand in there. I don't blame him. A red hot exhaust manifold.
I thought his hands were basically made of stone at this point. He's had to work. Arguably, this man has worked on more cars than anybody else in this paddock.
Yes, he is way more knowledgeable than any mechanic. So yeah, there is rubber on the manifold, and our start line marshal Marcin just needs to get in there and remove it. Yeah, he's knocked it through down to the floor.
He needs his own YouTube channel.
A garage?
Like just
Or- oh,
can we just throw it? Yeah, can we just throw a camera on him? And-
Constantly, like a body cam.
Yeah, and just let him run
Like a
around and see what his
security
day's
guard.
like. Yeah.
You're like, no, you're not coming past. You broke the beam.
That'd
You're
be
out
great.
of here.
That'd be
You're done.
great.
You're barred for life.
It would be funny too, because he's a hilarious man.
He's a good guy. He's a very good guy. And he's been with us for many, many years. Look at this, Oort Nilsen. He's aggressive. And look at him popping the front of that saw up as he now tries to put the pressure on Jarkko Jylha already. Onto the back bumper he goes. And look at this from Oort Nilsen as he now finds that proximity as they come firing through. Two big body Toyotas going door to door as they come down to outside zone 4. A little ground loss there for Oort Nilsen. He has to shallow up the angle, but now he makes a dive across the circuit. They fire it through as Oort Nilsen once again makes a big dive for the door, tags the door of the JZX 100 across the line.
Wow, Nilsen, man, just aggressive, just almost angry driving, kind of like, okay, I need. He doesn't actually even need to go that hard. Doesn't need to go that hard, but he goes for it. Oort Nilsen, I mean, so good. Takes his time through here, and then the moment he realizes he can nail that transition, tucks back in, and then just gets on the throttle and just basically shadows Jylha through the rest of this run. So great job from both drivers. The initiation there from Jarkko was pretty crazy. I don't know if you saw it. Almost looked like the rear end of the car hopped
up.
Yeah, just putting down so much horsepower and grip into that car. It was really, really neat to see.
That's a brave point of the circuit as well, to be tagging a door full throttle as they try and work their way out of that banked part of the circuit. Look at that, boom, big hit.
Almost
like,
use it to snap the car back around.
He's like, we need to be over here, buddy. Like, let me help you get to that outside zone.
Yeah, it's fun, and I mean, both drivers a little tense.
Yeah.
Tense, because as much as you make contact, you can also look back and think like, did I make too much contact? Am I at fault for something here? So, yeah, we will have to see what the judges say.
Well, spotters eagerly awaiting the decision. You can see Sposob down there and the drift game spotters.
That may be the toughest job here.
Spotter.
Yeah, spotter or mechanic. I mean, don't get me wrong, driver's very stressful. I get it. But the spotter, you're in their ear, you're in their head, you're their, you're their eyes and ears on the grid, and you're telling them what they need to do different. So, and then you have to hope that they listen and they do what you say, and then you still have to wait for the decision. Yeah.
And we're all waiting for the decision. It looks like our judges just deliberating this one, taking a look back over the replay. So maybe something that we didn't see there, Jacob, on the first.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, look at this. And you can see David Kalas looking at the telemetry.
So this is with our Nilsen out front run.
Yeah,
Judge is taking a look.
Yep.
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, lots of aggression throughout this run, little bits of contact here and there. A few spots where the drivers could be a bit smoother as I'm kind of scrubbing through some of these replays as well. But
well, here it is. Looks like it's in. And who's it going to be? Slide them left for Oort Nilsen. Oort Nilsen gets the win, advances through to the top 16. We see Jylha out of competition. And yeah, a tough judging decision, but they were all unanimous in the end. And those guys know what they wanted to see. And I think overall it came down to the good aggression, the good proximity in the chase from Oort Nilsen and a nice clean lead line. Look, Oort Nilsen, he's been a demon before. He's been an absolute flyer before. What is he doing? Becky, how's he feeling? He looked like he was on top of the world. He's always happy. I bet he's got the biggest smile on his face.
Oren, we had a chat yesterday and you said, I've made some upgrades, I've done some training. In her, I trust. Well, you're through your first top 32 of the year.
It means it's such a relief every time you're through top 32. That even who you meet in top 32, the level of driving is so high. So, when I get it one more time, I knew that I had to step up. And I was really focused in the chase to get on his door in the first corner. Felt really good. Thank you so much for the support. So many great people here, and really stoked for top 16. I have to push even harder with Jack, so really looking forward to that.
We've got to talk about those transitions. I mean, this is a big car, but how close you managed to transition behind him was pretty impressive. Have you been doing some training whilst you were in the off-season?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of simulator driving. Unfortunately, I don't have the best circumstances in where I live to drive with this car, but I've been driving a lot in the sim and repeating and getting a lot of seat time in the sim. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you in top 16.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Becky. Yeah, well, there you go. The sim driving again, coming through and coming into clutch for Oort Nilsen. Gets himself into the top 16 after a one more time with Jylha. And he's happy man. He makes his way off the circuit, back to the paddock and says he has to drive even harder. But a lot of drivers saying, once you break that top 32, things kind of get a little easier, and you can see what it meant to Oort Nilsen there as he puts his hands over his head and the joy seeps through. We go back to the start line to only one car on the grid, and the news broke as Becky was doing that interview. Unfortunately, Dave Egan, we heard the story. The stone went through the timing cover. It made the timing belt jump a tooth. They damaged the cylinder head. They got the car back together, but unfortunately I'm being told that the car wouldn't start to get to the start line. And of course, that start line clock started when Juha Pointo-Laakso had warmed his tyres and pulled to the line. So it will be a bye run for the Finnish driver, Juha Pointo-Laakso, who will go through to the top 16. And a sad exit for Dave Egan after such a momentous occasion yesterday of, getting into qualifying, getting into the top 32. Oh. And we're seeing Dave Egan make his way to the start line. So hold on a minute. This could be a complete change. I'm not sure how this plays out now. Was there still time on the clock? That is the... Well, I mean, look, I'm not going to throw Dave Egan completely under the bus here, but I'm going to give everyone a little insight into how things run at Drift Masters. Normally, we make our way to the commentary booth, a good 10, 15 minutes before we go live.
Right.
I would always get the call from the producers in my ear saying, hey, Ian, we're going live in 5 minutes. They'd be like, where's Dave? I'd be like, Dave's on his way. 30 seconds before we go live, Dave Egan would show up in his seat and they'd say, Dave just made it. I tell you what, nothing changes for Dave Egan, but because he has just
about
not
sound
made it.
Good.
But it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound happy.
There it goes. I think it just needed a little bit of a break-in. Look at, Dave was not going to go for this. And then he got it into the revs. He was like, maybe. Is he going for it?
I think Dave.
No.
I think he's going to go for it. Well, it looks like
Dave pulls
that
the line.
run that we assumed was going to happen is now not going to happen because Dave Egan made it to the line with seconds to spare for his first ever battle here at Drift Masters. It's always drama.
The most Dave Egan thing you could do.
Yeah,
just when you thought it was over.
Turn up just in time.
Yeah.
Dramatically, and make everyone go, oh, he's here.
Just when you thought all hope was gone.
Well, you know, Poitalaxco was sitting on that line thinking maybe he had 1 foot in the top 16. Now he's got to work for it. Poitalaxco sits in the lead position, and he is going to lead out Dave Egan for a spot in the top 16 away. As Egan starts to creep the line, and we're going to get this battle underway. Egan comes off the line. It doesn't look good as Poitalaxco flicks that car in. That car doesn't want to react. And Poitalaxco fires through and will complete the run. Drops out of outside zone 4 though. It's scrappy from Jylha Poitalaxco in that lead position. Works his way around down into outside zone 7. Comes in to pick up this inner zone, and across the line goes Poitalaxco, and Egan nowhere to be seen.
No, I'd actually seen, it looked like on his windshield, something might have sprayed up there. I don't know, maybe it was just the glare of the angle, but it, yeah, all right. I'm happy that, you know what, the win is for his team and his mechanics to get out to the show, to make it out there. And yeah, it might have just been stuff, but it almost looked like at one angle something had sprayed up, maybe the catch can or something like that. But you know what, it's a huge win for Dave and the team just to make it out to the line, to show that they could. But everything was not all right with that engine as Jylha Poitalaxco makes his way around the run, maybe checked his shoulder, realized Dave wasn't there, said, okay, I'm going to lay off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, rough go. I know Jylha would not want to win that way. He was looking out the window looking for Dave.
Yeah, of course.
He was checking his mirrors,
like,
waiting for him to pull up.
Where are you, buddy?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Yeah, unfortunately, I do think that will be all she wrote for Dave Egan, and having problems with some of the ignition system in the car, apparently the car not firing, not running right, and we could hear that when he pulled up after scrubbing the tyres, that the car just didn't want to react. And this could be a win for Jylha Poitalaxco if Dave says, look, the car's not going to do anything, I'm not going to try and lead them out.
We're even seeing, listen, absolutely nobody knew Dave was coming out, because one of the staff members even said, I just took the GoPro off of Jylha's car. Everyone expected that he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, and there we go. Look, Jylha Poitalaxco pulls to the line. I think Dave Egan going to retire that carbon Kevlar GR Supra. And yeah, and there we go, it's official in my ears. Dave Egan, it does retire from competition. That car's still not happy. Work to be done, but you know what? Shows the resilience of that team down there in the paddock, and everybody else who probably jumped in and helped to get Dave back out on track and out for his first ever top 32 battle. Not the way he would have wanted his 2025 campaign to kick off. And, Jylha Poitalaxco's like, do I need to do the pyro run? What do I need to do?
Yeah, and they asked, do you want to do it? And he just, yes.
Yes, I want to do it, yeah.
Why not? Put down more laps, get more data.
Of course, yeah, find out what's going on track, what the track conditions are. Look, it's been so up and down for a lot of these guys. And me and you are going, oh, it could be this, it could be that. But I wish we could get out there and get some real life data.
Yeah. I mean, I would be very afraid to run one of these cars at this track. I'd be afraid to drive any car around this track.
Yeah.
I was afraid to drive a car around this track. But Jylha Poitalaxco, not the case. All he wants to do is drive his car around this track, and I don't blame him. Hopefully, though, he can clean up zone 4. I know it's a bye run. I get it.
Yeah.
Not going at it, but I'm hoping he cleans it up a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to need to do work there on outside zone 4, especially as he moves forward in competition. We don't know who he's going to be battling just yet. We've still got to finish that second half of the run between Connor Falvey and Jacob Przygonski. As we see Jylha Poitalaxco there from Finland, just making his way around for the bye run. We do have to make it official. He does have to initiate to prove that the car works.
That's our line, huh?
That's our line.
That's our line.
You have to initiate to prove the car works. You don't have to fulfill the full run of the circuit or all of the zones, but you do have to prove to the judges it works. And there we go. The decision's in. It is official. Jylha Poitalaxco into top 16. Unfortunately, we lose Dave Egan. We go back on the line to this one. Listen,
This is a good one,
I said to
too.
the producers, I want to pick more than one highlight, but they said, no, calm down, stop it. We've only got time for one. This was one of my highlights, pick-outs. Our third-place qualifier, Torane Kvia, sits in the lead position.
Right.
Again,
Higher
another
qualifier.
guy sticking to what he knows. He sits alongside, though, a man that is... His trophy cabinet is stacked. His list of events that he's done is stacked. He punches a steering wheel. He's the one and only Jylha Rintanen in this incredible GR86. Rintanen's been there. He's done it all. He wants to take on Kvia, and he's going to give him one hell of a fight as they fire through. Look at this from Kvia. The Norwegian young gun puts that car right where it needs to be, and pop through the smoke comes Jylha Rintanen. He's down on the inside though, and he makes that dive. He pulls it off as Rintanen glues it to the side of that 180SX. And now Kvia knows that Rintanen's there. He can hear that 2JZ screaming as Rintanen makes a mistake, drop down, takes down the cone, but he's on the bumper across the line.
Yeah, one small mistake there from Jylha, and one really interesting transition from Torane Kvia, the way that he loads the car up and kind of coils it like a spring to shoot it into outside zone 4. Really, really unique way of getting through this course. Totally fine to do it. It's just harder to chase. But, I mean, this is where you're at. You've got to find different ways to get around the track to make sure that you can shake somebody. And it is very difficult to shake a Jylha Rintanen as our drone comes in, and you can see it there. Look at how he's able to just mimic everything. The timing is perfect, but Jylha should have had a little more forward drive to get into that proximity. It was a good transition, but it would have worked better if he was already a bit closer. And Jylha making a very rare mistake there. Well, Torane Kvia out front, looks great, gets to the run, very aggressive. I mean, this is why he was third overall in qualification, because he has an amazing lead.
Yeah.
Now, can he do that exact same thing when they swap it over to the chase?
Well, Kvia known for that door-on-door style of chase.
Door open on door.
Door open, and I like it.
Yeah.
Open the door, take a step in.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, Kvia, look, he's been known for overdriving before in the past, making contacts, causing an issue. He just needs to keep it clean now. He knows that he can trust Rintanen. Rintanen, like I say, been there, done it. Probably one of the oldest drivers on the grid. He knows that Rintanen's going to lay down the best qualifying line he can. He said yesterday, I spoke to Rintanen earlier in the paddock, and he said, do you know the only problem I had yesterday in qualifying? He said, my head. He said, I got in my own head, I couldn't throw down. He said, and I wanted to put down the best run I could, and I just couldn't get it out. Well, here we go. Look at this from Kvia on the back bumper. Oh, already body paddles exchanged as Kvia hits Jylha Rintanen. He hits him again on the transition. They slow down massively. Oh, and Rintanen checks up, and Kvia says, let's keep going, buddy. Gives him a nudge and pushes him into that outside zone. Kvia is on an absolute mission. Fires through that inner zone, up they go across the line. Kvia is battering and bruising everybody.
Oh, that's a spicy run, man. That's an absolutely spicy run from both these drivers. I mean, on the run-up, Torane Kvia was just itching. You could see him just waiting for Jylha Rintanen to light off. And when he does, he just jumps in there, cracking body panels, just absolutely nuts. Hopefully we can catch it here. Can almost see. Right there, and then waiting, and then gets into it. Oh, he was ready. He was ready to initiate about 10 feet before Jylha was. And you can see him in the back. Look at, just hunting for it, and gets right into the side, tearing off some body panels. Absolute, it's crazy behavior, nuts behavior. And then Jylha Rintanen not far enough through outside zone 4. So Torane Kvia, the great guy that he is, pushes him deeper.
Yeah, what a buddy.
Because why not, right?
Yeah, what a buddy. Absolutely helped him out to the outside zone. And Kvia didn't lay off there either.
No.
He just came with that attack the whole way through, and then he braked there to avoid the contact.
He actually made the same mistake that Jylha did when they came into that transition, but went about it a little bit differently. Didn't come off the throttle and just nosed the car over back into the pocket a bit more, but can just see how battled and bruised Torane Kvia's car is. And Jylha Rintanen, maybe one of my favorite cars on grid when it comes to livery and presence, and just it's a beautiful
that whole
car.
livery, that 300 style.
Looks so good, and it's so wide.
Yeah,
it's such a big looking car.
I mean, look, Kvia's car was pretty about a month ago when he put photos online. He did the whole car reveal. Not so much now.
But you knew immediately it was never going to stay that way.
I wonder if Kvia thinks he overdrove that.
He could have, yeah.
In my mind, I think Rintanen made the mistake on 4. Which
agree.
caused the contact. Okay, Kvia was a little aggressive after initiation, making contact, but I wonder if Rintanen was in the wrong, maybe outside zone 4. Hey, we're
That's what
not
I'm
judges.
thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm watching the judges though. I'm studying them. I'm really good at reading.
I'm watching the
lips.
Finnish fans because they got the flags waving in the banks.
I
Look,
get
they're
it.
happy.
They got something to cheer for this
We're
weekend,
going
that's for
there
sure.
next as well.
Yeah.
We're off there next. We're gonna explore it. We're gonna get to Finland and see those crazy fans, and you're gonna get to see that theme park where we drift on that crazy track that is just like this, where it goes up and down, around and around, and it is tight and technical, and there are walls, and the grandstands are packed the whole way around. It is an atmosphere.
I'm very much looking forward to it. And the judges, they're going all the way back to the beginning to understand, was there that initial, there was initial contact because obviously Torne's car did not just do that by itself. Was there contact there? It looked like there wasn't. I don't know for sure with this angle, it's tough to say. But Jylha on a bit of a tighter line there. And then this is the section I was wondering about. It looks like Jylha is about to leave the zone after just barely getting one wheel into it. And that's when Torne is coming in very quick.
But are they saying now that the chase car impeded the lead car?
That if they made contact there, then yeah, because he could have pushed Jylha onto a different line. If they didn't make contact, then it was Jylha that, in my opinion, was going shallow. So tough to say. We can see that this is how much they're looking into this, though. They're taking their time and really understanding exactly what happened, who transitioned when, because Torne Kvia actually transitions before Jylha Rintanen does.
Yeah.
So, nuts.
Well, I hope you've changed your flight for tomorrow night, because we could still be here tomorrow afternoon getting through these battles, because this is going to be a tough one, especially as we start getting through hot and heavy into that top 16, grade 8. Things are going to get spicy.
Yeah, if this is top 32, if this is the first set of battles, I mean, I don't know how many one more times we're going to see for the rest of this day. So,
or contact.
Everyone get comfy.
Yeah, get comfy.
Get comfy.
I might need a new chair.
Yeah, we're going to wear through this one.
Yeah. Well, no one in the spotters area wants to say a word.
No.
They're all standing dead still. Everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their fault, and so the crowd. Everyone knows what they think has happened. I have no idea. I never have an idea, to be honest with you. I'm always a little...
Yeah, I get ideas, and I think I might know, and then I watch it again, and I go, you know what, I don't have to know.
Yeah.
That's the best part
That's
about
the
being...
best bit, yeah.
Yeah, our job is we can take guesses.
We can speculate.
Yeah, that's all we do is speculate.
Yeah.
We just give you more information so you can speculate more. That's it.
And more camera angles,
All the
more
camera
information,
angles.
just so the speculation at home
Yeah.
between you and your friends and you and your partner just gets a little heated at home as well.
Yeah, this is a family sport. We want you to have discussions
You're
at
involved
home.
as much as we're involved. Well, here we go. It looks like the judges do have a decision. I can see everything getting reset. Slide them left for Rintanen, right for Kvia. Oh, and it's got one more time from Kalas. Oh, it's going to be a one more time. I think we're going to have to go to you, David Kalas. Complete agreement there. It's going to be one more time. What did it for you?
Yeah, it was not clean at all. There was like a lot of contacts, and there was mistakes from both drivers. So we just believe that the easiest way to settle this, just send them one more time and show us clean battle.
And there we go. They just want to see it clean, done and dusted. We're going to go back to the second half of the battle between Connor Falvey and Jacob Przygonski. And this time, we know that already Jacob Przygonski is sitting with a deficit after causing that contact with Connor Falvey. So Connor Falvey now really needs to keep his cool, drive the line and stick as close as he can, as we can see how battered and bruised that GR86 of Jacob Przygonski is as he sits on the line, absolutely laser focused. He won't want to go out without proving a point. Through the gears he goes, absolutely slamming, flicks the cars across the gear. Look at this, Falvey jumps straight onto the back bumper now, starts to put some aggression onto the side of that GR86. They fire down, a big wobble and waver from Przygonski as he just about keeps the rear wheels into that zone. And you can see Connor Falvey there, not doing too much, not trying to push too hard, just keeping it safe, just sticking to the line. Now makes a little dive up into the rear end, and across the line they go.
Yeah, smart move there from Connor Falvey, not getting in too aggressive. I still would have liked to have seen a bit more proximity. You want to show that you're in the battle, that you're actively chasing, and you're really, trying to bring it home. But it's a little far back. I'm just going to put that out there, a little far back, at least for my taste. But I get what he's going at. But Piskolty does look like he's still struggling with this car a bit. Yeah. The car lit off tires immediately out of the gate. Some drivers choose to do that. They like to know that the traction's already broken. They can make the initiation a little bit better. There's some issues with doing that as well. You're, cutting the tire life down even more, and it makes the car, you're not nearly as fast out of the blocks. So tough to say. The rest of the run looked pretty good, as much as that car is barely holding together. A lot of utility tape out there.
Is that what you call it, utility tape?
Duct tape.
Duct tape.
Okay.
Duct tape.
I was going non-brand.
Non-brand.
Yeah.
That's just a universal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just being extra safe.
Decisions. Who's it going to be, Falvey or Przygonski? And it looks like it is going to go to Connor Falvey. The Irishman takes down Jacob Przygonski. And Przygonski, look, he'll be happy they got the car out for qualifying. He'll be happy that he made it out for the battles. But this young man will be happy that he made it through, and he's now got his eyes set on getting that podium that he so worked hard for last year. He deserves it. Can he do it? Can 2025 be the year that he not only goes from rookie, but podium finisher? Becky's with him right now.
It's been a hard weekend for you, Kuba. How is that car after that contact?
I think the car has 4 lines, and this is the problem. We did our best. Our team was working really hard, and I'm proud of the team. This was the game, this was the part of the race, and we are preparing for the next round.
And how was your experience here in Spain? I mean, obviously it's been very difficult, but you've got a big smile on your face.
It's a lot of spectators. I'm saying hello to everyone. Spain is really nice. And it's really nice to race here, and we'll try here to come back here next year.
Absolutely. We'll see you in Finland. Thank you, Kuba.
There we go. We're going to see those guys back in Finland. Kuba Przygonski just happy that him and his team managed to get that car back out, back on track.
And here's my big pick. This is really what I think could be a pretty nuts battle. Naoki Nakamura and David Swanson, or Sposob. I think I got that one. That one's tougher than some of the other.
Sposob.
I'll ask him later. Sposob. I really think this is going to be a fun battle. I really, really do. The way that Nakamura has cleaned things up, he's more aggressive, he's getting more proximity. You know, admittedly, it looked like for the last little bit, he's been fighting the car, not able to get comfortable in it. That is not the case anymore. It's got this thing dialed very quick and very, very close. David just progressing and getting better and better with every run.
He certainly is. Look, and Sposob's been coming up through the ranks, and Sposob, the higher qualifier, decides to take that lead position. But look, don't take your eyes off Nakamura, because he's been looking deadly in this car as they fire through into gear and into initiation. But look at Nakamura, well out of formation, almost down the inside there. I had to hold my breath for a second. I thought we were going to see contact way before outside zone 4. Now Nakamura back into formation, back in the flow, but he's very aggressive. Sposob not doing too much too wrong right now, just putting down an incredible lead line and giving Nakamura opportunity, a big contact across the line.
Oh, wow. Catching that front wheel to front wheel and then rear to rear, so hopefully both cars are all right. Bit of a wobble there from the front end of Nakamura. Both drivers getting out to take a look here real quick. That was a good hit. That was definitely a good hit. I think Nakamura was hoping or expecting the car to be a little bit faster in front of him, but Sposob throwing his arms up.
Yeah, Sposob not happy there, and you can see Nakamura. He'll take that car off track, I do believe, to go and get it checked out. You can see that he's going to go back to the start line. Sposob not happy with the contact from Nakamura. Nakamura very, very aggressive in that chase position, almost too aggressive, to be honest with you, I believe there. He was making some big dives down the inside. Look, we encourage close driving and some close twin battles, but Sposob, for me, was not doing a whole lot wrong. Let's take a look at this from the onboard on inside the car as Nakamura fires through the gears. Gets himself way out of formation. Right there, you can see it. He's on the wrong part of the circuit. Then has to readjust. He comes down almost straight lines into outside zone 4. Look, Sposob could have been deeper into that zone, but still kind of where the judges needed him to be. But look at Nakamura. He's putting so much pressure on Sposob, and he's overdriving the car and almost really trying to impede the lead driver at this point. For me, Sposob full throttle there. Nakamura goes for it. Yeah, drives up. Oh, that's big contact, and it looks to me like he snapped the steering arm or pulled the steering wheel clean out of Nakamura's hand. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's going to happen with that kind of contact. I really think Nakamura expected Sposob to be faster and kind of went into it and drove like that because, you know, maybe that's the notes, maybe that's just what he was thinking and how they set the car up. But it is, as you said, very aggressive. And I think as much as, you know, it looks a lot like overdriving. I think it's just trying to hold the car back in a lot of cases.
Yeah, this could be true as well. Yeah, trying to dial the car back maybe 10%. I've just been told over the headset that David Sposob will get a 10-minute technical timeout to go and fix that car, check it over and make sure it's 100%. Nakamura deemed at fault for the contact due to the aggression on that chase. Judges are all in agreement there, nodding their heads, so we will be Nakamura back down the paddock, unable to touch that car or work on it. He's going to have to just roll with it as it is. Hopefully not any damage.
Yeah, hopefully everything's all good with that, but yeah, just a very aggressive run from Nakamura. Like I said, I really do think he set that car up in a way expecting Sposob to just be that much faster throughout the run. Even kind of taking a look back at some of these. Yeah, Sposob was not the fastest through this whole run, so it's just what I'm seeing. So I'm not saying there's any sort of, you know, slowing down or sandbagging or anything like that on purpose. No. Just Nakamura, you could tell as soon as he got on throttle, was just that much faster throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, there we go. Nakamura raised a few eyebrows a few years back when he came to Drift Masters and gave us some incredible stories. And he's back once again to give us those stories and raised yet a few more eyebrows, I believe, Jacob. We need to go back down to the back end of the paddock because we can see tyres being warmed on the back of Pavel Korpelinski's S14. He'll be taking on Steve Bagsy, Biagioni. Now, two guys that know the ranks very, very well. Korpelinski, 6th place qualifier, Bagsy down in 27th. What can Korpelinski do here? Is he going to play a game? Is he going to stick to formation? Is he going to stick to what he knows? Or is he going to decide that maybe he wants to chase first?
Yeah, I'm really not sure in this one. If I was him, I would take the lead on this. That would be my choice. Probably what he's a little bit more comfortable with. You know, Dave, you know that he's not. Yeah, I think I would take the lead. The more I think about it, I don't know if Steve's really got as much time into the car, and yeah, I don't know. That's the feeling. I'm just going off gut at this point, to be perfectly honest. I'm trying to look for reasons, but I really feel like that's what I would end up doing. And I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. So Steve.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see, Jacob, as they pull to the line. It will be Pavel Korpelinski, the high qualifier, to lead out Steve Bagsy, Biagioni in that 900 horsepower Toyota GT86. That's Pavel Korpelinski. This man renowned for his chase driving.
Yeah.
Very technical, an incredible sim driver, a very good line driver. Once he's in the zone, once he's dialed, this man is absolutely clinical. Bagsy known for that aggressive chase driving, that getting onto the door, forcing the error as he looks cool, calm and collected in the car. Look at this, hands clapped together. He's ready for action. Is Bagsy back for 2025 in Drift Masters? The anti-lag on from the back of that Toyota GT86 as he creeps across the line and they get the green light to go. Look at this, they're side by side as Korpelinski smokes the tyres. Bagsy through the gears. Look at that little flick to initiation. Bagsy not too far behind now as Korpelinski puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Bagsy on the back bumper dials more angle into outside zone 4. Korpelinski struggling to get the back end of that S14 where it needs to be. Now gets himself on to that qualifying line. Bagsy adapts. Oh, big dive from Bagsy. Just about holds it together, jumps onto the back bumper across the line.
A lot going on in that run, a lot. You alluded to it just even with the initial kind of look at it. Pavel Korpelinski looked a bit more hesitant, just didn't quite get out to the zones, didn't quite make the decisions as fast as you hope. Big e-brake pull there, almost too long. He was still e-braking as he was getting it outside zone 4, has to add throttle. And Bagsy just has to play the patience game all the way through, has to hang tight, because if he got back on throttle, even though Korpelinski was not exactly where he should have been, Bagsy could have been at fault for it. So very patient throughout the whole thing, does a lot of great maneuvers in order to keep the car back. It does look a little weird in the chase because of that, but you do need to take a hard look at Pavel Korpelinski out front in the way that he's checking things up and not getting on the throttle in the few spots. So good job for Bagsy for doing that, keeping that patience throughout the run. But yeah, just tough. Just a wonky run from both drivers, not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to swap it up, though, I mean, he's going to have to be very, very aggressive in the chase.
Yeah, he certainly is, and you know he's a very good chase driver. But for me, Korpelinski's, I expected more to see a more clinical lead line, and it looks like we've got broken drive shaft on the back end of David Sposob's S15. Sorry, his team down there getting it done, trying to get it changed. Just 10 minutes to get that car repaired, and then back out onto the line to the second half of the battle with Naoki Nakamura. We're back on the line with Steve Bagsy, Biagioni and Pavel Korpelinski, who now has to chase down Bagsy. Start line Marshall Master gives them the thumbs up. We wait for that green light. As you can see, both cars on the anti-lag. Cars in gear, they get the green light, it's go. As they cross that line, you can see Korpolinski being told by the spotters, you need to be close, you need to be aggressive. Smoking tyres are ready for Bagsy as he fires down. But look at Korpolinski, he's dangerous in that chase position. He almost impedes Bagsy though, as they transition to outside zone 4. Bagsy dials the back end of the 86 right where it needs to be. He's given Korpolinski all the opportunity, and Korpolinski is with him, tags the door. They fire through outside zone 7. Korpolinski falls back into formation, onto the rear wheel and across the line. That is incredible.
Yeah, this is the quintessential good lead, good chase.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I strongly agree, and you know, on my side of things, Bagsy had a much better lead than we saw from Korpolinski, but Korpolinski had a much better chase than we saw from Bagsy. So it's a cause and effect thing. Bagsy, if we thought at any point he was, you know, still learning and coming to grips with this car, he's got it now. He's got it. The way he's able to get through the line. Did look like he went a little bit wide there through the one outside zone, but the rest of it, everything looks pretty solid there from Steve Biagioni. Really good run, but, you know, Paolo Korpolinski, expert level chase throughout this entire run. Great timing, great proximity, great throttle control, and man, what a great run.
What a great run. But look, hey, I'm just going to put it out there and say, without a great lead, you can't have a great chase.
I agree with you.
So we could have been rewarded with a good first half of the battle. Hey, I'm not a judge. I never want to be a judge. If you're thinking about contacting me or Jacob to judge an event, forget it, because we're terrible at it.
Yeah, no, I just flip a coin the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now how it'll go.
Heads or tails.
Yeah, just it. You'll hear the dinging in the background of the coin being flipped.
So there we go, drivers having a chat, both smiling, both happy with that. There we go, decisions in, left for Bagsy, right for Korpolinski. Who's it going to be? David Kalasis, Korpolinski. It's going to be Pavel Korpolinski, gets the win, advances through. And it is going to be, I'm guessing, down to that aggression in the chase position. And yeah, an agreement from the judges, just that chase was where it needed to be.
Yeah,
no, the chase was... The international
kiss.
chef's kiss sign. That's what we want to see, apparently.
No, I agree with it. I completely agree with it. It was just a world-class chase, and that can make up for a couple of the mistakes that you end up having in the lead.
There's a man to keep your eye on for the rest of the weekend. Not that guy.
I was
Pavel
like, the man in the flag?
Pavel Korpolinski.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if he can lay down chases like that all day, that's clean, precise, very technical. We're back on the start line.
He's going to have his hands full, though. Kevin Pesur and Mika Keski-Korpi will be one of the two drivers that he'll be going against.
Well, two very, very similar cars, two very similar-ish powers. Yeah.
It looks like the track width is a little wider, though, on Mika Keski-Korpi's car. Could just be the way the body looks, but...
Yeah.
Well,
there we go. They're on the line. It's going to be Kevin Pesur, who told me that this year, again, he's hunting for another podium. He's hunting for a championship this year. He was close last year, but unfortunately after Spain kind of fell off the radar a little bit. Mika Keski-Korpi, a brand new build. It looks identical to the car he drove last year. He said it feels better than the car he had last year because it's lighter and it has more power. He said, all I'm doing is putting fuel and tyres on the car and keep going out, and it's just working for me. Through the gears they come, and look at this, Keski-Korpi onto the back bumper. Nice initiation as Mika Keski-Korpi looks for the side of Kevin Pesur's BMW. They fire through into outside zone 4. Now Keski-Korpi starts to apply the pressure. He's very deep though. He's lost a little ground. He has to regain it as they fire through. An early transition from Mika Keski-Korpi as he goes to put rear wheel to rear wheel, and Keski-Korpi gets lost in the smoke.
Yeah, just a little bit back throughout the entire run, about a half a car back, and that's just enough, though, to get completely bathed in smoke and start to lose sight of the lead car. But Kevin Pesur out front, solid set of runs. Mika Keski-Korpi doing everything he can to keep up with it. Similar cars, similar driving styles in a lot of ways, but Kevin Pesur just that little bit extra through a lot of this run, able to get the car lit up really, really quick. And I'm sure we're going to see from some of this inboard, look at the intensity, look at the searching through the smoke of Mika Keski-Korpi as he's trying to figure out where Kevin Pesur is on this track. I do like these transitions. I like how he's timed it so he can punch out of the smoke, gain that proximity. Look at that handwork from Mika Keski-Korpi as he dives in on Kevin Pesur. Just, you can see the hunched over, just trying to find any type of view, because we can see just how much smoke these drivers are fighting through on this type of run. So something we don't talk about enough is how difficult it can be just to even find the lead car when you're driving like this. You're driving through senses at some point. It's just a timing thing, and you have to hope that when you punch out of the smoke, the other car is exactly where you hope they would be. So yeah, Kevin Pesur laying down a solid run and bathing Keski-Korpi in smoke through the entire thing. And Mika Keski-Korpi, I will say, though, does a great job of driving with instinct and not binning it and throwing in the side of Kevin Pesur.
Yeah, I mean, look, once you're in that smoke, it's hard to find yourself back, and I think that's what happened to Mika Keski-Korpi down there. He kind of got lost in the smoke, couldn't work out where he was, but look, he's now in that lead position. Now it's time to throw down. Kevin Pesur not doing a whole lot wrong out front as he starts to creep off that start line already. They get the green light ready to go as Keski-Korpi fires through the gears. The man from Finland, opportunity to lay down. Nice initiation. Look at this, he's up and gone already. As Kevin Pesur dives through the smoke, looks for a nice line from Keski-Korpi this time in that lead position. Look at this, some ground opened up as Keski-Korpi now starts to throw down a heater, and Kevin Pesur starts to panic and needs to find a dive, needs to take a bite outside that currently does right across the line.
Yeah, Mika Keski-Korpi's lead run looked really good, but Kevin Pesur just closed the gap and I would say had a better proximity through that entire run. I would lean a little bit on the lead for Keski-Korpi, but I would still lean more on the chase from Pesur. So pretty balanced set of runs once we start putting the math together and running the numbers. And both drivers should be very, very happy with what they just put down in front of us here in Spain.
Oh yeah, definitely so. As we see them pulling up to receive the decision, they pull up here, spin the car around, take a look at the big screen that faces the grandstand and the hill here in Madrid. As we take a look back at the replay.
Yeah, great run there, Keski-Korpi. I mean, you could tell he felt like he needed to just gain that advantage and try and bait Pesur in smoke, but wasn't able to. Pesur not getting into the pocket as much, but stays out of that smoke line. Doesn't make the same mistake that, you know, he saw his chase driver do on his lead run. So very smart from Pesur as we get this beautiful slow-mo footage, and you can see just how much smoke comes out of these cars. And it wreaks havoc for the chase driver.
Yeah.
There's so much strategy involved in staying out of that path.
Crazy.
Yeah, very crazy.
There we go, decisions in, left for Korpi, right for Pesur. There's one vote for Kevin Pesur already, and there we go. Kevin Pesur, ladies and gentlemen, get the win, advance through, and I think you're right there. That proximity, again, that just comes into play. I think if you're able to chase closely on this track, the judges are going to favour you.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's really what it ended up coming down to in this case. Both drivers had great lead runs, but that little bit extra in the chase, that's the difference maker. When everybody's driving at this high of a level, you're expecting perfection out of the lead, and I feel like the judges say are putting a lot of weight on the proximity in the chase.
Exactly that, so there we go. So there's elation down in the Sposob camp, and that is because the news is just broken. Naoki Nakamura has been ruled out of competition by our race director. The car unsafe for competition due to some bent suspension on the car. So David Sposob gets the win and will advance through to the top 16. He won't need to complete a bye run. He obviously proved his car could work. Yeah. And you can see there the car is on the ground ready to go, but they have said to him, look, don't panic. Make sure that car's 100%. And Naoki Nakamura out of competition. So we are done for that half of the battle. This is it, the final one more time battle between these two guys. They couldn't get it done in the first half. They were exchanging punches, but now it's time to punch themselves into the top 16.
Yeah, this is a great way to wrap up top 32 here with two incredible drivers, both on heaters, both driving to a level that we haven't seen yet this weekend, just very aggressive, basically pushing each other around the track, blowing up body parts, and just putting on a show for everybody here in Spain. And that's, if you're going to wrap up top 32, what a great pair of drivers to do it with.
Yeah, exactly that. So here we go, Tourani Kvia, the higher qualifier, sitting in that lead position, sticks to what he knows as Jylha Rintanen now. Well, they've felt each other out a little bit. Rintanen, the same rinse and repeat. Little two-fist pump on the steering wheel, does it every time. A little nod to our start line Marshall Martin to say, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Do you mean rinse and repeat?
Rinse and repeat. Oh, I like it. I like it. Feel like a little bit of Dave coming through there. And yeah, here we go. Fires through. Tourani Kvia, big initiation. Dialed some grip into that car. Oh, wow. But look at that from Rintanen straight in there as he jumps onto the side of Kvia's 180SX. He knows he needs that proximity. He knows he needs to be aggressive as they both fire down to 7. Look at that dive again from Jylha Rintanen, almost onto the front wheel as Kvia takes it across the line.
Yeah, Tourani Kvia textbook lead run throughout that entire thing. Sitting through the drivers' meeting, the judges said, hey, there's a few spots in this track where we don't mind if you just drop a wheel just a little bit onto the rumble strip so you can get fully deep in that zone, opening the pocket for the chase driver. And that's what we saw Tourani Kvia do up front. And Jylha Rintanen took every single bit of the opportunity that was presented to him from the Norwegian driver. And look at Rintanen just falling right into step. does such a good job mirroring almost perfectly through this run, just a half step behind, and that's what you want. Any closer than that, you're going to start creating conflict, and you're going to start putting into the judge's mind, is he driving too hard? Is he making contact? Is he spinning the other car around? But look at Tony Kvia, just the smallest of movements throughout that entire run, the smallest of corrections.
It's so dialed in the car as a driver,
Oh,
Kvia.
man.
He looks so comfortable. When you watch him on the onboards, he's doing the same thing all the time. He's never overdriving the car. He's never panicked. He's just in there doing his thing. He looks like he's literally driving down the shops to pick up his newspaper on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, if you didn't realize he's doing 150 kilometers an hour through this track,
Yeah.
you would know. You would have no idea.
No.
Yeah. If you just photoshopped them in, just grabbing groceries, it
No
makes
one
sense.
would know any different.
Nope.
Well, here we go. This could be the final run of our top 32 as they pull to the line. Rintanen sits in that lead position. Kvia knows what he needs to do. He doesn't need to overdrive the car, not be too aggressive, just gain that proximity. He would have seen and heard from the spotters saying, look, Rintanen was there, he was with you. He needs to throw down a nice lead line. If the door's open, you need to take a step in. Open the door, Tor. We're off and through the start line, through the gears they go. As look at Tor and Kvia already on the back bumper of that GR86. They fire through. Big angle from both guys as they now dance across the circuit. An early transition from Tor and Kvia to make sure he's in the pocket, into the groove. And he's on the rear wheel of Jylha Rintanen as Rintanen absolutely trying to drive away, but he can't lose Tor and Kvia. And Kvia goes for it onto the rear bumper across the line.
Yeah, Jylha Rintanen, as he comes through our last corner here, has been doing the same thing over and over again, which is through 7 on that outside zone in the last corner, adds a bunch more angle, dives through 8, and then pushes out wide to 9. And I don't think Tony Kvia realized he was just going to keep doing it over and over again. Expected him to change it up a bit, and he didn't. And that was the only mistake that I saw there from Tor, who does a really good job. Could have been in a little bit more forward, but actually uses that space to then dive in right through here. And you see Jylha adding that bit of extra angle as Tor is on a much tighter line. And then I don't think there was contact. It got close. It got real close. But
No, they got very close.
Very, very close. We can
It
see
was
here.
a moment inside the car.
Yeah, and this is what we talk. This is a perfect example of that. A shallower line coming into it, and then Tony Kvia then adds that little bit more throttle. You can see the wheel spin that little bit faster to get him back into the
Get
pocket.
back into the pocket. Well, there we go.
Could we shoot an entire run in high speed? Like every camera is just those. Could we have the budget for that?
Listen, you can't just walk in on day 2 and start throwing rules around and you know, this is what I want. You've already got new equipment.
There's no suggestion box. They took it away from me before I showed up.
You filled it before you even got here.
just
Everyone's
full of notes.
email was full of ideas from you, and we were like, calm down, Jacob. It's day 1. Well, here we go. The guys out of the car. Neither of these guys know what way it's going to go. Slide them left for Kvia, right for Jylha Rintanen. Who's going to be in the top 16? It's going to be Jylha Rintanen. Rintanen gets the win, advances through, and he takes out our third place qualifier. And look what it means to the Finnish driver as Jylha Rintanen says, that was tough. Yeah, he even does a sigh of relief, and that will be an upset for Tor Kvia. He wanted to do a real championship fight this year, and it already started off bittersweet for him, out of competition in top 32. Well, there we go. That finally is our top 32 done and dusted. We now have our top 16 grid, and I am so excited to see who is going to go head-to-head, Jacob, because you've already been cheating and looking ahead of the paperwork.
I know. I just get excited, and I mean, listen, I'm not the only one doing this at home. I know there are other people with their brackets out on their table, and this is what they're looking at right here. What a bracket that we're looking at for top 16, Ian.
Yeah, it's certainly so. Look at this. James Dean to take on Jason Banet. Heinonen to take on Randalu. Shanahan, Nilsen. Shanahan, Holovnia. Pontus Hartman to take on Itay Sadeh. Falvey to take on Poitalaxco. Rintanen to take on Sposob. Korpelinski to take on Kevin Pesur. And you know what? A little bit of redemption there for Connor Falvey. Can he take out the man that Dave Egan never got to battle?
Right.
That could be some redemption.
Oh, man.
Top 16 is absolutely stacked. And I am so excited to get it underway. But we're going to have to wait.
Oh, why you do this to me? I need a break. I need a nap anyways.
You need a
Siesta,
nap?
sir?
Siesta?
Shall
No,
we?
No, we've got work to do,
I
Jacob.
know.
We can't just go and lay it down. Look, it's been an incredible top 32. If that's anything to go by, top 16 is going to be crazy. But there's a lady on the ground that gets all the information with us. Becky, what's going on in the paddock?
Ian, I've come down to the paddock to catch up with our good friend Dave Egan. Dave, you were so close. We thought you weren't going to make it. Then we saw you coming out. You were driving towards the start line. Can you tell us what was going on? I'm sure it was a roller coaster of emotions for you.
Yeah, I'm getting drifting 101 this weekend, or like it's ups and downs, the highs, the lows. We had the head off the engine. The guys replaced it. They did about 6 hours work in about an hour. And then I think it was just maybe one ground or earth wire that wasn't put back on. We got the 30-second warning that we were out. They just started the car and sent it. But as I went to the start line, I couldn't even warm my tires. There wasn't enough power in the car. Tried to go to the start line, but to be honest, making it to the start line, I knew I was never going to be able to take on Jylha. But just for my team to get that like recognition of the work they put in, we're still happy. And Connor got through to the top 16, so I'll go from driver to fan pretty quick. I definitely can't get my old job back, right? Because it's much more stressful down here. So it was, look, an amazing weekend. What an introduction to Drift Masters. I hope I held my own. That's all I can try and do and improve for the rest of the season.
Well, you definitely held your own. I mean, you qualified at your first ever event here. Like, everybody knows how nerve-wracking it is, especially when it's a whole new setup. You said that you had this car set up by Jack Shanahan, and it is just a new beast. Yeah,
I'd struggled since I bought it a year ago, and we, you know, you come here and all you've got is insight, you know, and they come in, and a load of people came and gave me advice. We changed everything before the event, and it's just worked really well. It gave me a lot of confidence. The qualifying run was, I guess it was lucky, but we got into the show. I would have loved to go out and do a battle today. The crowd looks amazing here. The atmosphere in the pits is amazing, and I guess now I can just get out of the race suit and be a fan like I was last year, right?
Let's talk about the emotions. You said that as I walked over to you, said I felt quite emotional. Like, what is that like for a driver? Because it's hard when we sit on this side and we're just kind of observing. What is it like?
Oh, there was tears in my eyes at the start line because you see your guys putting in so much effort. Then you hear it's not going to be in time. Then they hear, oh no, wait, it'll be on time. So you're up, you're down. Eventually they get the engine started. Everybody cheers. You think we're on their way to the line. And as we went there, the car starts misfiring, and you're just. It's very hard because in other motorsports, you have a long time. You know, you can do a bad lap or something can go wrong. You can recover. Drifting is down to a second. If you don't have the car right and your mentality right, you're out. And weeks of planning and money have gone into this, and it's just so harsh. So when you see someone get it right, you have so much more respect. And from this side, as opposed to the commentary side, I'm learning that these guys are inhuman. Like, they're just dealing with such an emotional roller coaster at such a high level that I'm so proud that I'm part of it. I'm humbled to be part of it.
I just want to check on the status of the car. Obviously, you didn't actually sustain any damage, which is a great thing with the engine, or tell us a little bit more.
Well, with the new head, no. The old head, we bent some valves, but luckily the bottom end was okay. It's a fix. It's obviously expensive, but it's not something that's a disaster. So the car, we lost fourth gear and a couple of valves this weekend, but she's still going. It was trying very hard to be there. It wanted to be there.
You know what? I take that back about no damage. I think I meant there was damage, and then, you know, yeah, there was quite a lot of damage,
What you meant, Becky, was I didn't crash into the wall. So that was the good thing. I didn't get to the wall, but I still didn't crash into it.
See, look, you know what? It was an award-winning run in my eyes. You didn't go into the wall, so it's all good here, Dave.
Good. Well, look, I appreciate all the support from everybody. We're having a blast down here, and hopefully now Connor can take it all the way today. I'm looking forward to it. 17 years old and a far more reserved and calm person than I'll ever be, so impressive.
All right, Dave, go enjoy the sun, enjoy the rest of your event. Guys, that's all she wrote for our top 32. We've got some amazing battles coming up for you in our top 16. Make sure you join us at 3:50 local time, because you are not going to want to miss this. That's it for now, and we'll see you very soon.